From Absegami High School, Comcast Cable Channel 5 presents High School Wrestling tonight. It's the Region 8 Finals and also the Consolations. Hello everyone, with John Vogening. I'm John Mondelli, and Voge, the people that did the seedings tonight did a pretty good job.
Well, exactly right. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 seeds going in 9 weight classes in this tournament, and that's pretty good. All first place seeded wrestlers, with the exception of one, have advanced to the finals. That one upset was pulled by Billy Widener of Kingsway High School, and I don't know if that was so much an upset or not, because he's been having a very good year this year. So he went overtime to make the finals.
Yeah, you talk about that 160 weight class. We talked about it on our preview show. That was an up for grab weight class to begin with. You talk about him winning in overtime. Sirasinski's match had to go to overtime. There were a couple of the better matches today in the semis.
Right, and neighboring towns are going to go against each other head up tonight. And of course, the another thing we talked about when we looked at the Region 8 tournament was the 125-pound weight class, and that is the one weight class in this tournament that has wrestlers seated 1, 2, 6, and 7 competing, and 1 and 7 are in the finals.
Well, we have a lot of familiar faces. A matter of fact, 8 returning region champs, 7 from last year. Phil Black was a region champ 2 years ago.
Right, in the finals last year, lost to Chuck Martell of Paulsboro. So this is his 3rd finals appearance. He's already got 1 Region 8 title, going after a 2nd one tonight. And of course, you've got some outstanding wrestlers coming back from last year. You got a rematch at 275 pounds with Demetrius Hester and Joe Price of Washington Township, the returning state champion. And you also have a rematch at 215 pounds with Alex Sylvester of Paulsboro and Jack Corcoran of St. Joseph Hamilton.
And one of the interesting ones, last year's 103-pound champ, Rivera, he's now at 112 going against Stanley, who won that weight class last year.
So you have returning champions going head up for 112 pounds this year. So that means somebody's going to have a 2nd Region 8 title and somebody's not going to have any. And of course, at 103 pounds, where all of them are rather young, you're going to have a matchup from a dual meet where Eric Dunnett from Paulsboro, the freshman, is going to go up against freshman from Delsey High School, Luke Fedecco. Get a little brainwave for the second there. But that was, I believe, it was a 1-0 match in a dual meet.
Now, if you look at the breakdown with districts, District 29, not that bad. 7 wrestlers from District 29. Unfortunately for the district, they all come from one school.
Yeah, they're all from Paulsboro, and that's a tribute to the program that Paulsboro put on the mat this year. But generally, District 29 is one of the more powerful districts in Region 8, and they've been sloughing off the last couple of years, so Paulsboro is carrying the banner for District 29 this year. District 30, I believe you said,
they have 8.
Is 8 in the finals.
Right, and 31, just to represent them, Kingsway, which is in our coverage area, they have 3 in the finals. And how about hats off to Clayton? Going into the Consolations, 3 wrestlers still alive that could be wrestling next week in Atlantic City.
And I think that's a tribute to Dan Antonelli and the Clayton program. They're thin on numbers, but they gave a lot of gutty performances throughout the districts and here at Region 8.
Okay, we're going to take a break. We'll have all the action coming up next after this timeout. And welcome back to Absegami High School, covering some of the consolation matches involving wrestlers in our area, Vogue. And at 125, we have Nico Lopez of Paulsboro High School against Jacob Jagger of Pennsville.
Jacob Jagger commands the number 3 seed. He won his first match against Magoli of Williamstown 6-0. He won his next match against, he won his first match against Brad Holmes 9-0. He lost his next match to Ali Maj of Absegami 10-1, and then he advanced to the consolation for 3rd place by beating Josh Berman of St. Joe's by fall 231. Nico Lopez commands the number 2 seed. He lost his first match to Ali Maj 9-6. He has had to wrestle back. He beat Brad Holmes of West Deptford 7-0, and beat Anthony Rislow of Deptford 6-5 to reach this point.
And we've wrestled 1 minute so far into this match. We're scoreless.
Nico Lopez with a record of 26-8 right now. Jacob Jagger with a record of 33-5.
Of course, we've seen a lot of Lopez Vogue, best on his feet.
No doubt about it, and he started off that way against Ali Maj with an early takedown, but then he got reversed, got put on his back, and that was curtains.
There's 2 matches going on at a time. Trying to keep an eye on everything as it's going on. Final 10 seconds, still scoreless. Lopez trying to steal that takedown, and he gets it in the final 10 seconds of the first period. Now the key is now to hold him down before the buzzer sounds. He will. 2-0 lead, Nico Lopez.
And that's why you have to wrestle a full 6 minutes out there.
And we'll try and bounce back and forth votes because we have one of our wrestlers going out there at 1:30 right now also, and that is Darren Carrero, who came into the tournament as the number 2 seed and lost in a classic semifinal matchup with John Renard. We've been waiting to see all season.
John Renard beat Darren Carrero 3-2, and you said a classic matchup.
Starting the neutral position here in the second period. Lopez, I'm assuming it was his choice and took neutral. I wasn't checking out to see who had the choice, but Lopez being best on his feet, Voj, I would just assume he had his choice and that's what he took.
I would presume. Scott Jenkins, the official on the mat, refereeing the bout. Ron Roberts is the assistant to him. Jager in on a single leg. Lopez is at his best when he utilizes his speed out on the mat.
Trying to fight this takedown off. One minute to wrestle here in the second. Lopez with a 2-0 lead. As it looks like we're going to go out and go back to the center. Lopez has to like a situation right there as they go back to the center. There's a little bit of trouble there earlier. We see Dean Duca, Paul Marina, the head coaches. Head coach Paul Marina, Dean Duca, the assistant.
A year ago, Lopez wrestled at the same weight class, 125 pounds, and in this tournament, he came in third place with a win over Brad Holmes of West Deptford.
That goes to tell you how tough it is, Vodes, to repeat. You figure you've been here before, it would be easy, but not necessarily, and Lopez in trouble again.
Yep. He's got to grab the ankle, try and cross face and spin behind. If he can break the grip of Jager, he'll get a takedown.
10 seconds to go.
Got to spin hard.
Free up that leg, he can get out, he can get it. He's not going to have enough time, and he's going to take a 2-0 lead into the third period. Meanwhile, Darren Carrero with a 2-0 lead after one period in his match, 130 pounds against Leeper of Washington Township.
Right, Will Leeper of Washington Township, and this is a matchup of the number 3 seed.
And the number 2 seed.
And the number 2 seed.
Well, actually, Leeper was the 5 seed, Voj. Lopez on top. Start the third period, he has the lead. Now you got to watch here, and you got to keep working to turn your guy. If not, you're going to have to cut him.
Well, he don't want to get in any trouble, and that's where he's gotten in trouble. And the only loss he has in his tournament was from the top position. See Jager trying to reach through, trying to get the leg. If he gets the leg in the arm, he's going to try a Peterson.
Score from here, Jake! Score from here!
Lopez defeating Holmes in the district final last week. Jager was a 3-2 winner over Ryan Dorman of Kingsway in last week's District 31 final. 1:18 left. Caution on Lopez.
As you mentioned, Lopez has to try and stay behind his man, try and stay in control, and at the same time, not get parallel with his opponent. And if he feels himself in trouble, he's best to cut his man loose.
But you got to keep working, because then if you don't want to get hit for a stall, that puts a lot of pressure on you.
No question.
45 seconds left.
Scott Jenkins looking at the action, trying to decide. As you see, we get a 1 count. trying to decide if Lopez is stalling or still working for the fall. Now he's seen to that perpendicular, and that's what he wants to do. Try and bar the arm. Lopez has been here before. He's been a third place medalist a year ago.
20 seconds left.
Got the arm trapped.
Both of these guys finished third last year, Voge.
Yeah, Jake in a different weight class.
112. And Lopez is going to hold on. 3 seconds left, too. He wins. Final score 2-0. So after losing on Friday night, that's what the Wrestlebacks are all about. Gives you a chance to come back.
No question.
Now, we're going to go to the other mat now, Voge, at 130 pounds going into the third period. Darren Carrero of Deptford has a 4-2 lead in this match.
And he's going to take the defensive or down position, so he can increase that lead by getting out.
Carrero last year finished third in this tournament, defeating Etta Ponte of Egg Harbor, who we'll see a little later on in the final, Voge.
Yes.
Of course, Brian Tracy was the region champ at 130 last year, so Carrero in the same weight class.
Carrero breaks loose, gets an escape, now has a 5-2 lead.
Undefeated until this afternoon, or actually this morning. And like the early start here at Absegami for the region finals.
Darren Carrero won his first match in the tournament 14-3, and then he turned around and, as you mentioned, lost a close one 3-2 to John Bernard, the sophomore from Kingsway.
Leaper trying to grab that leg. Carrero has nothing to do with it. Ralph Ross in the corner for Washington Township.
Carrero a pin over Contre Harvin of Williamstown to get to this juncture. Leaper a 6-3 win over Ben Lloyd of Delsey to get to this position.
Final 40 seconds.
Time is running out in a hurry for Washington Township's Will Leaper.
And it's a big deal to these kids, Voge. I was talking to a parent last week. All his kid wants to do is place in regions just to step on that floor at Atlantic City.
No question about it. No question. It's quite a thrill to reach the state tournament in Atlantic City. And these are all so important matches because if you don't win this bout, you don't go to Atlantic City.
This isn't like districts that fourth place guy, third place guy can't go?
The fourth place guy is the alternate.
Okay.
First, seconds, and thirds go. So you have to win this in order to be entered in the tournament.
And Carrero holds on and wins 5-2. So Darren Carrero of Deptford High School advances with a 5-2 win. He finishes third. We'll go over to the other mat where we have a Clayton Shalik matchup. Voge at 135 pounds. 4-0 lead for Higgins.
135 pounds. Kieran Higgins of Shalik, as you mentioned, the number 3 seed. He's wrestling Scott Ware of Clayton, the number 4 seed.
Higgins with a 4-0 lead.
Higgins won his first match over Cuevas of Kingsway 7-4. Then he lost to Eddie Aponte, the sophomore from Egg Harbor Township 14-7. Came back with a fall against Nick Giuslow of Williamstown to reach this point. Scott Ware, the number 4 seed, won his first match 13-7 over Giuslow of Williamstown. Lost to Jordan Burrows, the returning champion by fall. Came back and won his match over Cuevas 10-6 to earn this matchup with Higgins.
It's the first of 3 Clayton wrestlers we're going to see in the Consolations, Voge. And as far as Shalik, how about the job Farnham's done with him? Not missing a beat. Peter DePaul there a few years ago.
I think Brian Farnham brings a lot to the program. A former outstanding wrestler himself when he was at Haddon Township High School. And I think the members of the Shalik team are feeding off of just how good their coach was on the high school level. Danny Antonelli, the head coach of Clayton, was questioning Ron Roberts, the referee. about the situation out there.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Farnham is 49-17 in his career at Schialek, and counting his time at West Deptford, 79-40 in his career, vote.
Pretty good numbers.
Spent some time as an assistant with Kingsway before going to Schialek. We'll see one of his wrestlers in the final. That's Wilcox.
4-0 after one.
Come on. Finish your stuff. Finish your stuff.
Werrell start on the bottom. Of course, Voj, you've been here for all the matches, Tuesday and Friday. How the crowd's been?
Almost a saw every round.
See Dan Antonelli on the right. He's the head coach of Clayton. Very involved in everything over there at Clayton, from what I hear.
Well, he's the athletic director. He's the boys soccer coach. Very active. 4-1 to score.
He's very active in what goes on with the midget program, from what I'm hearing. I mean, just
Use it.
as he was mentioning to me before the district started, a little disappointed with the numbers in the 8th grade ranks. They used to have, by this time of the year, 18 kids to carry over into the freshman campaign, and this year the numbers were down. So it's a problem more than one school is facing, especially the smaller schools.
it's now 4-1.
Go get it.
They're trying to roll through. Higgins trying to kick over the back.
Ware's in a little bit of trouble now, Voj. A whole lot of trouble.
Big trouble. Oh, my. Oh, my. Ware's going to have to do everything he can just to keep from getting pinned at this juncture. Oh, my. Higgins stepped over, get the half in, and that's it.
1:05 left. So that's 2:55, the pin. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more wrestling from Absegami after this timeout. John Vojning and John Mondulli back at Absegami High School. Voj, Consolation's 152-pound weight class, and it's Kingsway and Delsey. Jake Fedecco against Rob Whedon.
Jake Fedecco strikes first. He gets the early takedown and a 2-0 lead. Fedecco came in as a number 2 seeded wrestler. Won his first match 7-3 over Joe Price of Washington Township. Then he lost to Jeff Hamilton in a nail biter 3-2 in the semifinals. Came back and beat Evan Forsiski of Sacred Heart 4-3 to reach this matchup with Rob Whedon. Rob Whedon, the number 4 seed. He opens up the first night with a 14-3 win over Connor of Winslow Township. Beat Stan Morrison of Williamstown 6-3. Lost to Phil Black, the number 1 seed, 14-6. Came back and beat Mark Freckner in a fall 140 to reach this matchup. And now you can see we're 2-1 on that match.
Yeah, and Fedecco a senior, Whedon a junior. Last week they met in the finals in District 31. Fedecco winning 11-3. So we're a minute in, 2-1. Of course, Fedecco had was a rematch with him and Hamilton from the dual meet they had earlier this year, Voj, and that was a 1-point match.
Yep. Yeah, a takedown that wasn't given, and a takedown that was given the deciding points in that match. Everything so close on the out-of-bounds line. But Fedecco was the victorious there and then lost a close one today.
Of course, that was the first week of January. You know how I remember that?
I remember that.
I left that match early, Voj, to watch USC Texas play football. Same day. Of course, we'll also have a rematch of Fedecco's brother, who wrestled Dunnett in that match, and Dunnett won that match 1-0.
Right, Luke Fedecco and Eric Dunnett will meet in the 103-pound finals for the gold medal here, the championship. This is the problem with Fedecco and Whedon just having wrestled a week ago. They're very familiar with each other's styles, and styles don't change too much in 1 week. There's not too much you can teach. in 3 or 4 days to get ready for a rematch with the opponent. Have to go out there and use what works best for you. John Reynolds is the official on the mat, being assisted by Sean.
The whistle. 2-1 lead as we start the second period.
Sean Felkins is the assistant.
Where's he from, Voach? Pemberton?
Pemberton graduate.
It's escape. Now we're tied at 2. The only takedown belonging to Fedeko early in this match.
As you mentioned, quite a difference in score last week, and ever so close right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have the dual meet. If they met in the dual meet. I know Delsey and Kingsway wrestled during the season. Kingsway won that match. Fedeko trying to get on that leg.
Well, and you can see Whedon staying active out there.
Yeah, just for a brief second, he had Phil Black in a little trouble today too, Voach.
Yes, he did.
Of course, when you're wrestling a guy like Phil Black's been through the wars, I mean, he knows not to panic.
And that's one thing that Phil Black does. I mean, you may get him momentarily and get him on his back, but you're not going to keep him there.
Greg Sawyer and Angelo Joseph in the corner for Delsey. Some pretty good wrestlers there, huh, Voach?
I would say.
Kingsway, first-year coach Tom McConnell. Rob Whedon's dad in the corner. That's really got to be tough on a parent.
Extremely. Extremely tough when you got your own flesh and blood out there. We saw that with Guy Rislow earlier today when Anthony Rislow was wrestling.
And I think we're going to see that too with Mancuso, I believe, for Sacred Heart later on. Your job's to keep us on track. Jamison just won, right, Vogue, at 145 from Absegami?
11-5. He was the number 5 seed, and he beat Landolt, who was the number 4 seed. Fact is, that was a rematch earlier in the tournament. The Landolt won 3-2 in 2 overtimes. This time, Jamison prevails 11-5. Same tournament.
Well, this one's going to go down to the third period. It's a 2-2 match. There we see Greg Sawyer on the right.
Angelo DeJoseph on the left.
State finalist a few years back. Fedeko's going to take the bottom. Sawyer said bottom. 2 minutes to wrestle, maybe. Tom McConnell on the right. There's Whedon's dad on the left. It's also, I think, the athletic trainer, Bud.
Yep. And you're going to see on the other mat, when we get an opportunity to go over to it, you're going to see Bobby Tunstall of Clayton and Joe Gamble of Buna.
Which is also a rematch, I believe, of this tournament earlier on this tournament. First round for Tunstall's first match.
Tunstall won his first match against Timber Creek,
That's
but then
right.
he did lose the quarterfinal to Joe Gamble, 18-7.
So he's going to try and find a way to make up for 11 points. Right now, though, a minute and a half to wrestle. Whedon on top.
2-2 score.
Of course, when you're on top, you don't want to let that guy get out, but you got to watch and make sure you're trying to work for some back points.
Well, and 1 not 2 is always a rule of thumb. So if you're going to let him get away, you have to do it with enough time to take the man down. There you see the escape, making it 3-2 in favor of Fedeko. So now Whedon has his work cut out. He has to try and get a takedown.
The only takedown in this match is for Fedeko in the first period. They go back to the center with 1:06 to wrestle. It's interesting to see Fedeko just trying to keep Whedon an arm's length away so he can't get on that shot.
Hey, try to keep him off the legs. Now, of course, he's trying to tie up in that one arm, the Russian tie. Fedeko is. Whedon reaches in, tries to grab that single, but when your other arm is incapacitated, the man has it tied up, not much you can do. Whedon again trying to shove the head down, spin behind.
Final 30 seconds.
It's do or die time for Rob Wheaton. 25 seconds to go. He's trailing by a point. He's going to have to take some kind of a shot here. When you know a shot's coming, sometimes it's a little bit easier to defend it. Fedeko, you notice, grabbing that one arm and getting a 2-on-1 on one arm, that makes it pretty tough to go after a single or a double.
10 seconds. Got to go for it now, right? What's the difference? You lose 5-2 or
5-2 or 3-2. Doesn't make any difference.
A warning against Fedeko, but 6 seconds left.
Only a warning. Fedeko's backing up.
Time's going to run out.
Time ran out.
So Fedeko picks up a title, or a third place finish, I should say. He continues. 3-2 there. Let's go to 160. Bob Tunstall. Joe Gamble scoreless after the first period.
A little bit surprising because, as we mentioned earlier in this meet, in the quarterfinals, Gamble beat Tunstall 18-7. After that, Gamble lost to Billy Widener of Kingsway 6-4 in overtime. Came back here in this position here by decisioning Theo Apostle of Williamstown 11-1. After Tunstall beat McGee of Timber Creek by fall to open the tournament, he lost to Gamble. He dropped down to the Wrestlebacks, and he beat Vignola of Delsey 9-5, and then he beat Isgro of Absegami 10-9. He's a number 8 seed, fighting for a third place medal. Gamble was the number 1 seed.
Gamble, a District 32 champion. Remember, Virginia used to be in District 31. Beat Isgro last week 20-7. Gamble with the 1-0 lead, now to takedown. He's up 3-0.
Gamble, I think last year wrestled at Lower Cape May. Now he's at Buna.
Trying to turn Tunstall. Of course, Tunstall's dad's in the corner with Antonelli. Gamble last year wrestled at 152 pounds, placed third.
On the other mat, John Campbell of St. Augustine just took a 2-0 lead with a takedown over Tom McCauley of Kingsway in a battle of third and fourth placers. We'll see them shortly. Right here, Bob Tunstall of Clayton fighting for his life. He's down 3-0. 25 seconds to go in the second period. Scott Jenkins, the official in charge on the mat, showed that when Gamble tried that tilt series that he did not have him in position for a 2 count, so that therefore no back points. Ron Roberts assisting in this match.
Time's going to run out. It's going to be a 3-0 lead. Only got one. There's Tunstall's dad on the right. Antonelli a little more subdued, sitting back, leaning forward. 1977 grad votes, 2-time district champ he was.
Yes, he was. 188 pounds one year, 189 pounds the next.
Move your feet, John. Single. Move your feet. Stand. There you go. Good job.
So the number 1 seed trying to come back in the Wrestlebacks to advance.
And the number 8 seed trying to stay alive and get that trip to Atlantic City.
Watch it. Angle.
Oh my.
Gamble's going to spin around maybe and get the 2. Going to get that leg free.
There it is. Place that leg.
There it is.
Stay tight here.
5-0 lead.
Tunstall with kind of a desperation move there. Tried to go into some kind of a headlock series.
No need it.
Gamble a little bit too savvy to fall for that move.
1 minute to wrestle.
Joe, stay on the wrist. Right there. Inside the arm, inside the arm, inside the arm. Easy.
Another Tunstall coming in next year as a freshman. He's already, I think, 160 pounds.
Wow. It's like that Mac Mancuso we're going to see in the finals tonight from Holy Spirit, a true freshman who's, I believe, at 189 pounds.
That's true, Voch, and
Undefeated.
familiar name, related to Kyle Mancuso, who wrestled at West Deptford. You know, two wrestlers in New Jersey went on to long win streaks. Flanagan of Boundbrook and Bellamont, I think, of Jefferson. And both of those guys started their streaks after they lost to Kyle Mancuso. Did you know that? And a matter of fact, Andrew Flanagan, until this year, was the winningest wrestler in New Jersey. And of course, every year that record gets broke. But what Mike Gray's been doing, it's going to be a while. He's over 150.
Yeah, and no one's ever won 4 state titles, and I'm sure we're going to see that next week in Atlantic City.
I don't know about that, Voch, because there's no guppies when you get to Atlantic City, just sharks. So I don't know if that's a given.
5-0, the final.
Let's go over to the other mat. We talked about that one. John Campbell of St. Augustine, McCauley of Kingsway. Campbell with a 2-0 lead halfway through the second period. Now it's another takedown. He's up 4-0. Halfway through this match.
And of course, we'll see another rematch on the other mat when we get back over there between Ellis Hester of Paulsboro and Matt Bailey of Shallot.
This is just how the tournament's supposed to go, Bud. The 3rd and 4th seeds wrestling for 3rd and 4th place.
Well, they were 4 and 5. Hester was the number 4 seed.
No, I mean at 171.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, at 171, you're right. 1-2 in the finals, 3-4 battling for 3rd, 3 with the lead. So if one wins in the finals, they will fall into place. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty good job by the seating committee.
Were you there, Voch?
Oh, I was.
I got to tell you, this last week, Voch, you've been on your game. Man, you're the one that told me all week, Ali Maj. There's a guy came into the region 16-9.
Yep.
And you said, look out for him. I don't know what you knew that no one else knew. I mean, obviously, he's been through the wars. He wrestles at Absegami, but hey, we go to the third period of the 171-pound match. McCauley trailing Campbell by a score of 4-0. He's going to pick neutral.
Well, possibly looking for the big throw. You know, sometimes you can start on your feet. If you can get a guy in a good lateral drop, you can get a 5-point move out of it.
Well, at this point, you want to try that. Of course, I think Billy Widener of Kingsway was down 4-0 with 30 seconds left in his match this afternoon. Came back, sent it to overtime, and won.
Yep.
He's used to those overtimes, folks. We saw him twice this year, both overtime. We saw him against Sealy, I think, of Kittatinny, I believe, went overtime, and then we saw him in that wild one against Central Regional, where he almost knocked off a kid who was undefeated.
Yes.
125 to wrestle here at 171 pounds. Campbell with a 4-0 lead. A little adjusting of the headgear. And we'll start back up. Of course, if you're Campbell, you just want to be safe. Just, you know, if you're in a bad situation, you just want belly down. You don't want to get put on your back.
No question. I mean, this is his ticket to Atlantic City, so he's got a 4-0 lead, seemingly comfortable lead. He doesn't want to do anything dumb out there at this point.
And that's a school, by the way, Vogue, St. Augustine. I mean, we don't get to see them that often. We usually just see them here, and they had a pretty good year.
They had a very good year. You know, we saw him wrestle, I saw him wrestle against Kingsway when Kingsway beat him. And of course, they were in that non-public school A to see a reversal.
Or takedown.
I'm sorry, takedown with 45 seconds to go. And McCauley is in position. All he needs is back points to try and tie it up.
Well, this will be interesting, Voj, because how long do you think he'll wait and see if he has a chance of turning him? And have to cut him and take him down a couple times.
Well, you can't wait too much longer.
No, not with 29 seconds left.
I was going to say quickly running out of time, so I think he's going to try and turn him on the mat.
And you might see a stall warning right here also, right there.
Absolutely, because the man on the bottom, he's got the lead, and he doesn't really have to do anything. Now he comes up to his feet.
Final 10 seconds, a tight one.
Oh, my.
Almost had him, but time's going to run out, and Campbell's going to win this one 4-2. Meanwhile, at 189, Hester trails 2-0. And Voj, talk about this one, the match Friday night between Bailey and Hester.
No early takedown in this match here, but Friday night, Hester goes 2 overtimes, and he beats Bailey 6-3. And in that match, Bailey tried some kind of a takedown maneuver where he ended up on his rear end, and Hester just reacted to it, got the takedown, and of course ends up with a 6-3 win. Hester with that 6-3 double overtime win over Bailey. Advanced to meet Jamil Jones of Winslow Township, lost 10-1 there. Came back. Hester beat Steve Flannery of West Deptford 12-7.
Well, Bailey's doing a nice job. He took him down early, kept him down. Now Hester does get out 20 seconds into the second, 2-1 lead for Bailey of Shallock.
Bailey, the number 5 seed, opened with that loss to Hester and had to wrestle his way back. He had a 13-2 win over Chris Romano of Timber Creek. Then he beat Mike Nelson of Delsey 11-8, so he scored a lot of points in the last 2 bouts, and he leads this one 2-1.
That's it, physical.
First, these two teams met in the South Jersey Group 1 final. I guess, Voj, Shallock, and you were at in Toms River, probably the second best Group 1 team in the state of New Jersey.
I don't think there's any question about it. They advanced to the South Jersey Group 1 final and gave Paulsboro a competitive match, and Paulsboro had very little trouble winning a state title against 3-point competition up there.
Hester trying to get the takedown. He's in on the leg. Bailey trying to fight it off.
Right.
Got to keep moving if you're Hester.
I think Hester's got to pick that leg up high, and he lost it. He tried too quickly to go for a half while he was holding the leg up. All Bailey has to do is keep the pressure on Hester's head, and Hester's not going to be able to do anything with that. There's a stalemate by Ron Roberts.
47 seconds left, second period.
Got to utilize your speed here.
Outside single man. Good sets, head up. Give me a good set one time. Inside, get inside.
Closing in on 30 seconds remaining in the second period. Do or die time for Hester. I'm sure Bailey will take the downer defensive position in the third period. Hester not known for being able to ride any length of time. Hester again tries to duck under. Bailey expects it.
12 seconds. We go back. 2-1 lead for Bailey. Matt Bailey is senior. Hester is senior.
A couple seconds to run off the clock, and the officials very astutely noticed that and asked for 2 seconds to be put back on.
And Bailey's going to take that 1-point lead into the third period. And he'll take down.
And forcing Hester to shoot from just too far out, and then unless you can get in deep on a single, it's going to be hard. So I think you're going to see Hester virtually cut him loose here right off the bat.
Right away. Now, you know what, Coach? He's going to probably need a couple takedowns.
At least, because he usually gets one takedown to tie it up.
Right.
He's not going to be able to ride in any length of time.
Bailey taking that shot.
There's Farnham in the corner for Shallock, encouraging his wrestler to keep the pressure on.
Let's go, coach.
A lot of people walking by, Votes. Big crowd.
Yes.
Let's go.
Of course, this is one of those wrestlers I think you were alluding to earlier when you said, the objective was just to be able to step on the floor of Boardwalk Hall.
Right.
Been there, done that. For Ellis Hester, time is running out. His brother obviously is going to get to Boardwalk Hall. But for Hester unless he gets a miracle finish here. He can only go as a spectator.
You see his brother Demetrius in the background, standing up, just pacing, swaying back and forth.
Yeah, close-knit family. Mama Hester and Papa Hester are here. Brother Demetrius, and got to be heart-tugging to see the youngster out there from the family.
How about Farnham? He's used to these Paulsboro battles, huh? From his days at Haddon Township, coaching at West Deptford.
Yep.
Your shot, offensive scramble. You go. Circle.
Hester needs, with 54 seconds to go, he's got to have some kind of a takedown to back points maneuver. As you mentioned, if he gets a takedown, the chances of holding Bailey down are going to be pretty tough.
45 seconds. There's the warning against Bailey.
Yep.
Now, if you're Hester, you got to keep doing it. We'll go back, reset, 34 seconds.
And the best defense against a stalling warning is to actually get out there and keep executing and try to get takedowns.
Bailey is district champ as well as Hester. 28 seconds.
Bailey has the right defense in this match. Able to block all of Hester's efforts.
That early takedown's key. 10 seconds left. And down to 5 seconds. Now if you Bailey, give up the point here, Voj. Give up that point, just back right up.
That's it.
There's the 1. And we might get 2 on takedown. Did he get the 2?
No, it just gave the 1 point for the stall.
3-2 final. 3-2. Bailey wins.
You're right.
We'll take a break. We'll come back with the heavyweight consolation after this. Timeout. Well, Voj, a final match for us in the consolations before the finals, the heavyweight, and another Shallot-Clayton matchup. Ardeki, Bill Ardeki of Clayton. James Woodley of Shallot.
Ardeki comes in as the number 3 seed. Ardeki advanced with a 7-1 win over Bill McGrath of St. Augustine. Then he got pinned by Demetrius Hester of Paulsboro in 40 seconds. Came back with a pin of his own in 3:05 against Kevin Boyle to bring him in this matchup with James Woodley. Woodley came in as the number 4 seed. He won his opening match 9-4 over Kevin Boyle of Lower Cape May. Then he lost to the returning state champion John Price by fall in 2:41. Woodley responded with a fall over Ryan Campbell of Absegami to earn this spot against Ardeki, who quickly gets a takedown.
And Woodley's a district champ, returning district champ, or a district champ, winning his title last week, District 31. Ardeki just had the problem of having to face Demetrius Hester in the districts and then facing him again today in the semis.
Yeah, that's got to be cruel and unusual punishment, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
See Woodley roll out for an escape, making it a 2-1 match.
A lot of tight matches. I'm looking around. I see a 1-0 match in one of the matches at heavyweight. That Ardeki, no, not Ardeki. A 2-1 double overtime heavyweight match. See Woodley trying for the shot there.
Yeah, a lot of times you'll see a lot of falls when heavyweights go out there because they're big guys. You know, get that bear hug, so to speak, on, or get a leg trip, and big guys go down. Boy, it's tough if somebody gets on top of them for them to get off.
We may have seen it there if they weren't too close to the line. 28 seconds left.
Jack him up! Use it! Hips! Hips!
And we'll go to the second. It'll be a 2-1 lead for Decky of Clayton. 1 second left on the clock.
1 second.
You see the Clayton side. Period ends, 2-1 lead. First after this vote, they take a mat down, go to 1 mat, and then we get started with the finals.
Yeah, and I think they go through that ritual here of lowering the lights and putting wrestlers in the spotlight.
They got to work on those lights. I think they got to put some new bulbs in there. A little dark. Looking for the big throw.
Put your legs back!
Hardecki with a 3-1 lead. 150 left in the second. Looks like Darren Sharp on the other mat's going to advance. Vogue. He came into this tournament with 1 loss. Had to wrestle Alex Silvestro in the semifinals. He is a 13-5 winner on the other match.
Gave Silvestro a good battle, 7-4.
Nothing. Well, just missed that takedown, did Woodley. How about that? In the ankle. You don't always see that too much from heavyweights.
Not from heavyweights, no. Good move.
No points awarded yet.
He's got to get behind, knock the man off his base. Show that he's got control.
Here we go.
There it is.
5-1 lead.
And notice how he picks up the ankle to remain control as they go out of bounds. Now you have an injury timeout.
Injury time, and Clayton's looking to advance one of the wrestlers to Atlantic City tonight.
Woodley holding his left knee to strain that maneuver.
I believe he was on that Shalleck football team. Pretty good Shalleck team. It's what, 2 out of the last 3 years, group champs.
Yeah, that's right.
Everything's there. It should
Take
be
a look, Coach. Maybe we can see where the injury takes place.
Let's go.
First, you got Hardecki cranking on that leg.
Yeah.
Get out first. Get up.
It just collapses even as they go out of bounds. They'll drive him out of bounds here and collapse on that knee, and it just, I believe it was just a little bit of a stinger because Woodley got up off the mat pretty fast there and a quick turn in.
Now 5-2.
That gets the escape.
Under a minute left in the second.
Need to look at that hurt on that maneuver.
We're in better shape. Let's go.
Like the hair of Hardecki, Vogue, word has that's 1958 look at Paulsboro High School when you were in high school.
Only it was red, not blue. That'd be something that Ernest Stevenson would do in her day.
Ah, there we go. Woodley going right after him. He's trying for the big move.
Well, and you notice it's at Bear Hug City when you get 2 big guys together like this.
Looking for the throw. Oh.
They almost threw him right in the laps of the coaches.
And he appears to be bothering Woodley again.
18 seconds left in this period.
And if he calls another injury timeout, then it's choice for Hardecki.
Hardecki's choice. Woodley tries to use a football maneuver. Drive ahead for a tackle.
That's it. Hustle back.
First, Coach, we're talking about last week, you know, when you see these tournaments, by the time the heavyweights come up, a lot of the crowd leaves. We may not see that tonight. Oh!
Oh my, almost a big throw by Woodley does get the takedown.
At the whistle. Got it, right at the buzzer. 5-4 match. Now we got ourselves a match heading into the final period. And Woodley has his choice, I believe, right? Let's watch this, Vogue.
It is right here. Woodley just comes back in, executes a throw, spins behind. and gets the 2 points as they go out of bounds. He's in control. So you have a 5-4 match.
And he chooses the bottom, which sometimes with the heavyweights, it's not always the right thing to do, but in this match, you never know.
It's an adventure. Woodley tries to sit out and turn in. Ardeki spins behind him. If he pulls him straight back and gets a half in, he can get some key back points. The big key is to keep moving. Woodley keeps moving.
Nice job by Ardeki, though.
Yeah, never got separation. Ardeki stayed right with him. The overhook is in. If Woodley can spin and turn, he gets the neutral, which he does.
We're tied at 5.
Oh, my.
1:30 to wrestle.
Number 3 seed Ardeki against the number 4 seed Woodley for a trip to Atlantic City.
And let's be honest, Village. We're only 10 minutes away as it is.
Well,
No, you're almost there as it is.
it doesn't quite match your trip to Las Vegas, but for these kids, it's one more week of wrestling. Oh my! Oh my! Oh
Woodley
my!
with the takedowns on a nice comeback by Woodley.
Now up 7-5.
Trailing this whole match. He's coming back.
Ardeki's got to get out of bounds because if he doesn't, he's just wasting a lot of time. Out of bounds they go. 44 seconds to go for Ardeki to get 2 points. More than likely, Woodley's going to cut him loose here.
Well, here we go, Village.
And they lock up like 2 bull elephants. See Woodley going to suck his man in and then drive forward and try and stay in control. And he has control as they go out of bounds. But Woodley might cut him loose and make Ardeki do something reaching for a takedown. But Woodley stays right on top. He's going to ride him.
He's got that leg locked in there, too.
Oh yeah, you get that Western ride on the ankle like that. Pretty tough for a guy to get out and get to his up off his base if you got his ankle tied up.
10 seconds left. There's a stall warning.
Doesn't mean a thing at this point.
Not with a 2-point match.
9 seconds to go. He can just cut him loose. Not enough time to get a stalling point. I think you're going to see him try and ride him though.
Well, there it is. 7-6. He's got to go right after him. One last throw. We're going to have enough time. Nope. Woodley wins 7-6. What a way to end it. We're going to take a break from Absegami. When we come back, the Region 8 Finals. Stay tuned. We'll be back after this timeout. And welcome back to Absegami High School. Votes the 103-pound weight class. Luke Fedecco of Delsea Regional High School. Eric Dunnett of Paulsboro. 2 freshmen, 2 wrestlers we're going to hear about the next few years.
Luke Fedecco, the number 2 seed, coming into this bout. A freshman, as you mentioned, 12 falls, wins by fall this year, and a 33-2 record. 5 tech falls, 4 majors, 5 forfeits. His only loss is 1-0 to Dunnett in a dual meet, and to Tyler Forbeck of High Point, 4-2. So the only thing keeping him from an undefeated season is a total of 3 points. Eric Dunnett, a freshman, 28-4 this year. He lost to Derek Valenti of Kittatinny the first weekend of the season, 2-0. Lost down in Virginia to Andrew Williams of Tab of Virginia, 14-3. Lost to Derek Russell of Jackson, 2-1, and to Chris Leach of Caesar Rodney, 3-2.
Yeah, except for that one match there, Vogue. He's been on a lot of tough matches. And you saw that match down in Virginia.
And
that was tight after 2, wasn't it?
Yes, but that wrestler was just outstanding. He towered over Dunnett, and he was virtually in control most of the match. So that was a tough loss, but it was a loss that the Tab wrestler earned because he kind of dominated the match.
And of course, one of the matches people were looking forward to all week was Fedecco and Curcio of Washington Township. That took place in the semis.
In the semifinals, and Fedecco came out on top of that one, 6-5. That was a very tight match. Fedecco advanced to this point by beating Ron Cuff of Shalik 8-2, excuse me, and then he won 6-5 over Curcio. Dunnett advanced by beating Andrew Boss of Timber Creek by fall in 130. Then he had a 4-2 win over A.J. Fisher of Lower Cape May. And Anthony Curcio of Washington Township come back and gain the third place spot by beating Fisher 16-10 in a wild match.
Okay, we have blood time going on. No score so far here, period number 1. As we take a look at Fedeko.
You were supposed to tell the officials no bleeding in the matches tonight?
No bleeding, keep it going. But I'll tell you what, Voge, these guys are doing an outstanding job. Actually, they're ahead of schedule. It's 5:20. This match started around 5:27. Well, not even 5:30.
And I think the people who are running this tournament, especially Scott Logic, the athletic director of Absegami, they've bent over backwards to accommodate as many people as they can. This gymnasium is packed tonight. Not only are the stands full, but they're sitting on the floors in front of the stand. So they're trying to accommodate everybody they can, getting them in here.
30 seconds left, first period, no score.
Scott Jenkins, the official on the mat. Ron Roberts is assisting him. It's another group of guys that I think have done a yeoman job over the 2 days, Friday and Saturday. 3 mats up until the Consolation finals when we broke down to 2, and now we're down to 1. But the same 6 officials have worked match after match after match, 2 at a time, 2 officials at a time, have done a yeoman job.
Well, we're almost through the first period, and these wrestlers haven't been able to solve each other yet. Vogue in a 2 match plus period here. The only points was an escape by Dunnett in their dual meet.
In the dual meet, so it very well could have the same situation happen again.
Dunnett's choice takes bottom. Talk about Dunnett's strength is the top. He'll have that position probably in the 3rd period. So one of the strangest things, Vogue, today in one of the matches in overtime, we saw a wrestler who had choice. What did he started with a freestyle start.
Yes.
Look out, there's a reversal.
You got a Peterson. Not only has a reversal, but he's no back. I don't think he has any back points yet. He got 1 count out there.
We talk about the strength of Dunnett is the top, so he's in the top now, and he has a 2-0 lead. 30 seconds into the 2nd period here, first match of the evening.
And that doubles the scoring from when they had their dual meet. That was a 1-0 final.
Were you a math teacher, Vogue? That's pretty good. 1 doubled to 2. It's pretty good. Of course, Dunnett's got to watch when he's riding.
Yeah, he can't ride parallel. I mean, he's got to work some kind of maneuver where he gets out perpendicular. He just can't lay on top. Of course, the patented maneuver he tries to make when he's on top, he tries to bar the arm and he tries to walk around and get a figure 4 in the head. I'm sure that Fedeko is well aware of that.
Yeah, I think these guys, all these wrestlers at this level now know each other and have seen them at one point or the other. And as we said, these guys wrestled against each other beginning of January. So warning against Paulsboro.
All warning on top.
Talked about that. Fedeko's brother finished 3rd at 152.
And I'm sure rooting heavily for his brother here to get to the state championships in Boardwalk Hall as a champion out of Region 8. Bright futures for both these youngsters, as well as Curcio of Washington Township, who was very impressive.
All freshmen, even Fisher, the top 4 seeds, all freshmen. And you usually do get a lot of underclassmen, obviously, at 103 pounds, but really, really good wrestlers. I mean, you look at the weights of the top 4, the records of the top 4 wrestlers in this weight class, and none with more than 4 losses. 15 seconds. Of course, Dunnett will probably be in the same position to start the 3rd.
Now he's trying to get to tilt. Dunnett's on top. He's trying to control the arm and get a tilt situation. No points out of it.
We go to the 3rd, 2-0 lead. Paulsboro's Eric Dunnett. Coaches for this match, Vogue, as we take a look at Fedeko. Greg Sawyer, the head coach at Delsey. Paul Marina, the head coach at Paulsboro.
Of course, Andrew DeJoseph in the corner with Greg Sawyer, and Dean Duke, the longtime assistant, in the corner with Paul Marina. Notice that we started on the feet here in the 3rd period.
Interesting, and that just goes to they respect the strength of Dunnett on top.
Yeah.
Also, says a lot about what we've been saying all year. I guess they agree with us. I mean, we've been talking about how strong Dunnett is on top.
Yep.
Obviously, they agree.
And Fedeko trying to control the head out there and spin behind. Get a stalemate call.
What's interesting here, Vogue, it almost forces Fedeko to take him down twice, unless he can hold him down or get him on his back. Don't forget though, Dunnett's been hit with a warning.
Yep. Fedeko, Dunnett gets inside, tries to tie up around a single leg. Fedeko grabbing the ankle, trying to push down the head. If he can grab the ankle, push down the head, and break the grip on his single leg and spin behind, he'll get a takedown. Almost a stalemate situation again. Fedeko trying to hook the ankle from behind. If he hooks the ankle and knocks Dunnett off his base, he'll get a takedown. Dunnett throws his hips in. Dunnett has very good hips. Stalemate situation.
This takedown for Dunnett. No, I'm sorry, takedown for Fedeko, tied at 2.
A little bit surprising here. I thought they were almost in a stalemate situation. And Dunnett's going to try and come out the back door.
2-2 match. Of course, Dunnett sporting that 1970s Paulsboro uniform. Might get another reversal here. Nope, not yet.
Nope, he's got to free that leg.
30 seconds. There's a warning on Delsey, Fedeko. Both wrestlers now have been hit. 18 seconds left.
Nice situation here where Dunnett has 18 seconds to try and work an escape. Dunnett trying to come out the front. Fedeko following.
We're going to have overtime, Voge. Tied at 2 as we go into overtime.
2-2 after regulation.
Guard in the neutral position. This is first points wins.
This is the 1 minute overtime, so anybody scores in this period will win this bout. If they're still tied after this 1 minute session, then they'll go into the 2 30-second overtimes. Oh,
Fedeko can get the takedown here.
Tries to spin behind. Dunnett in a little bit of jeopardy here.
Potentially dangerous. 35 seconds left. Greg Sawyer questioning the call with the officials.
Of course, when they have a discussion over there, Paul Marino hustles over in a hurry too because he doesn't want, I don't think he wants the official talked into anything.
Remember, both wrestlers been hit with a stall warning too.
Yep.
Best points coming on a reversal.
25 seconds left in this 1 minute overtime period. Fedeko again in on a single leg.
See, Dunnett trying to peek up at the clock. He's in trouble here though, Voge.
A lot of trouble, big trouble. Oh my. Gotta lock the arms and try and hold on.
He's gonna hold on. We're gonna go to the 30 second.
Overtime, their first 30-second overtime period.
See whose choice this is. I guess Dunnett's got choice, right, Voge?
First points were to Dunnett, so he'll have first choice. He takes the down or defensive position.
Got 2 out of this earlier in the match.
Well, he's got to try and get out of here in 30 seconds time. Trying to come out the back door.
Got to free that leg up. He's trying to.
Yep.
See Fedeko pushing the head into the mat. 13 seconds. Stalemate. 8 seconds.
We mentioned many times before, it's awfully tough. Second time around.
And Fedeko's going to do his job. Now we switch. Remember, we got to wrestle the whole 30 seconds.
That's correct.
He's going to take neutral too, Voge. Yeah, how about that?
A bit surprising, but
you got to go top bottom. You don't have a choice, right? You can't
Hey,
take neutral.
You got to take top, bottom, or defer, I believe. Top, bottom, or defer.
Tried that. I heard that somebody did it on Tuesday and got away with it, right?
In the districts.
In the districts. That's what it was. Well, we'll see what happens here anyway.
Well, and you got to remember, both wrestlers have a stalling warning, and they carry over. Oh my! Granby attempt by Fedeko didn't work. 10 seconds left in the period. Dunnett's got to break his man down.
Which he does, and now we just go to a coin toss, Vogue. Neither wrestler got out. That's kind of unusual.
Amazing. 30-second tiebreaker coming up. Side off, they flip. Well, now I guess it's not the side off the flip. It looks like, well, I guess did they flip something out there?
Did not notice. Well, there we go.
Yeah, they did flip something. Choice was to Dunnett, and Dunnett took the top.
And this is something else you don't see too often.
Yep.
And it's going to be interesting to see how they are with the stall call since they've both been hit and done it riding or done it on top. I don't want to use the word riding.
Usually in this tiebreaker like this, the first thing they'll call, if they sense a stall, they'll call a stalemate.
Five seconds left.
Oh my.
Well, we talked about his strength the whole time, Boge, all season.
There it is.
And Eric Dunnett wins it on top.
And the final score will officially be 3-2 on the ride out. And you know, that's the 91st regional championship that Paulsboro has in their history, John, and it keeps alive a district champion every year since 1971.
And Vogue, have you seen any two kids more close?
More evenly matched?
Evenly matched.
It's a shame there's a loser in that bout because they're both winners.
Unbelievable match.
Tyrone Hamilton started a string in 1971 by winning the first of two championships for Paulsboro. They've had a regional champion every year since.
Okay, we get ready for 112 pounds. Who do we have up Vogue?
112 pounds. We got the number 1 seed, Danny Stanley from Timber Creek. He's wrestling the number 2 seed, Justin Rivera from St. Augustine. Justin Rivera is 34-3 this year. He's a junior. He has a career record of 79-22. He's won 10 times by fall this year, 5 tech falls, 8 major decisions, 4 wins by forfeit. His 3 losses this year to Dan Kelly of Delaware Valley, heavily ranked wrestler in the state, 6'5". He lost to Jerry DeSanto of Cinnaminson, one of the top ranked wrestlers in South Jersey, and he lost to him twice, 6'4" and 5'3".
So it should be a good match.
Dan Stanley comes into this with a 29-1 record this year, 85-18 in his career, with 19 falls this year, 4 tech falls, 4 majors. His only loss this year to Dan Higgins at 119 pounds. So out of this weight class is his only loss.
And we have injury time right now.
And a 1-0 score.
I don't know where to get the 1-0. I missed how the point was scored.
Maybe grab the headgear to pull him down.
But an injury time. Okay, it is 2-0, Vogue. It was a takedown. Okay. That's why we're here, to keep track of the score.
Well, thanks to Sean Felkins, one of the officials sitting in front of us, because I thought maybe the headgear was grabbed, but he said it was the takedown, clean takedown. So 2-0 is the score.
4:35 seconds and counting left of injury time. Stanley with the takedown. He's coached by Rob Malowski. There you can see St. Augustine. Rivera. Coached by Keith Hoover. St. Augustine advancing, had no one in the consolation round. So Paulsboro actually, Vogue, advanced how many? 1 in the consolations with Lopez, and they have 7 in the final. So they're going to send 8 to Atlantic City.
Just a matter of how many first placers come out of these regional finals. Dan Stanley and Rivera, both regional champions last year.
Yep. Rivera won a title over Earl Winterbottom of Oakcrest 4-1 last year, and Stanley beat Garrett, who we're going to see later on, 7-5.
Rivera, two-time district champion, first in the region last year. Dan Stanley, 3 first places in the districts with 1 second and first here last year.
Well, look at that move. That's a quick takedown, Votes. 3-2 lead Rivera, lightning fast.
Three to 2 score.
Watch this takedown, Votes. I mean, just lightning quick. And you can see setting it up.
Getting his man moving left to right, and bang, in on that single leg, duck under, and spin right behind. Textbook takedown.
You know, usually when we prep for the season in like late November, we go over things on the mat, Votes. That's just how you taught me. 3-2 lead. Stanley's trying to get at least one to get out of this period tied.
Of course, Rivera brings back memories of...
there it is, big escape. 4 seconds left. You hate to see that happen if you're the guy with the lead.
I was going to say, it brings back memories of Franklin Gomez. As you can see, Keith Hoover on the right in the picture.
That's Angel Rivera, the assistant.
I'm sure with a little bit of a relationship to Justin Rivera.
Of course, Hoover wrestled his days at Edgewood. We'll get to the other side and get a better view.
Go, dude, stay cool.
Caution against the bottom man.
165 and 67 in his 11th year for Keith Hoover.
Stanley advanced to this point by beating Tim Ramirez of Kingsway 15-0 and 326, a technical fall. Then he beat Steve Gillard of Sacred Heart 8-1. Justin Rivera, the number 2 seed, had a technical fall over Ryan Salvatore of Mainland, and then a 8-2 win over Kyle Broadwater of St. Joe, who came in 3rd by beating Gillard 6-3 and earned his trip to Atlantic City. But 2 very powerful wrestlers. You look at 29 pins and 9 technical falls and 12 major decisions between these 2 wrestlers.
And as we mentioned, Stanley's only loss coming up at 119. 40 seconds into the second period, tied at 3.
Here we go.
Oh my, nice move by Rivera. Gets the reversal. Rivera with a 5-3 lead. Rivera looks like he's trying to bar the arm underneath. He lost it. Gets out no side, tries to get out perpendicular. He's going to try and get in a position where he can get a tilt or turn his man. Stanley doesn't try to push up off the bottom and get to his feet.
There's the warning.
There comes the warning, and there's the escape.
5-4 right now for Rivera.
On the way.
Look at Stanley trying to keep a low center of gravity. Kind of a stalemate situation. There it is.
There's that reversal, Vogue. 8 seconds left, by the way. 5-4 lead for Rivera.
Granby roll right through, comes over the body, turns in, gets the reversal.
So again, one of those moves we worked on in November. We go over our training. We have all that training, which we do.
You could never get that Granby down pat, though.
No, I had problems.
Kept getting stuck with your head.
Problem was all that weight I lost, Vogue, and I still wasn't in shape. You know, I was just trying to get back into shape. My uniform was too loose.
Dan Stanley takes the down or defensive position.
Got a caution on Rivera.
He Each have a caution now. Those cautions don't cost you anything until you hit the third one. Stanley tries to get up to his feet. Rivera riding like a blanket though. Now something's got to give here when you got two returning regional champions going against each other.
Well, it's going to come down to the takedown unless we're going to go into overtime. 5-5.
Or the first mistake, and there's the escape to tie it up.
Remember that Stanley has a stall warning, correct?
Yes. He has a stall warning, and both wrestlers have been hit with cautions. Look at the Stanley's focus and almost a smile on his face. They're like, I know what I'm going to do.
1 minute left.
Stanley's got to watch the speed of Rivera. Rivera's lightning quick, as you mentioned. Stanley blocking off in that attempt. Oh my.
I'm not going to have anything. We're going to go back to the center. 35 seconds left.
Ran out of room.
Might have injury time. Talk about Timber Creek. Rob Malosky votes the coach there. Will be coming into your picture momentarily. The head coach used to wrestle at Highland. 80-21 career record at Highland. His team this year actually won the Egg Harbor tournament, first in the Egg Harbor Christmas tournament. 45-30 in his career, but involved in one of the greatest matches I can remember at Vineland, when Vineland hosted Region 8, an overtime match that he lost to Jason Suter.
Yep.
I think that was back 85, 86, back in that time. I say to tell the same story every year. It's my Rob Malosky story. Also went to James Madison, had over 100 wins in college, 106-40. East Regional Tournament, first, second, the Virginia Intercollegiate Championships.
And an assistant principal now at Timber Creek High School.
Timber Creek, the Chargers went 21-5 this year.
That match you were alluding to in 1985 happened at 158 pounds when Jason Suter beat Malosky. It was 6-6 in regulation, 0-0 in overtime. It was decided on criteria.
What a mind, what a memory, Voach.
Before the current overtime procedures that we use, which are much fairer today.
Plant the right arm.
20 seconds left. We're looking at another overtime. How ironic would that be to start the first two matches in the Region 8 finals in overtime?
I don't know, Voach. How ironic would it be? First the truck saying 14.
I don't think you'll see 14 overtimes. You get two returning champions like this. This is not completely unexpected, although Rivera trying to take a second shot.
Remember, he might get this too, Voach.
He
got the takedown into his back. 4-point move at the end. He wins 9-5.
Oh, brother.
How about that?
With 2 seconds left.
9-5 win. Scoreboard says 8, but it can't be 8 because it was tied at 5. It was 2-2.
Oh, my.
I believe it was 9-5. Didn't have enough for 3 back points. So Justin Rivera's second straight title. We're going to take a break. We'll be back. After this replay, though, first, Voach. And there you see 2, and then he gets the back points. And it was 9-5. We'll be right back. And there you see the 103-pounders and Eric Dunn of Paulsboro finishing first. And just how they were in the seeds, Voach.
Exactly right.
1, 2, and 3 as we get ready for 119 pounds. We're going to see a pretty good freshman here, Voach. Anthony Luma of Egg Harbor, Ed Wurtenberger from Paulsboro.
Eddie Wurtenberger, the #1 seed, a junior, 28-4 this year, 78-24 in his career. He advanced by beating Dustin Overs of Gateway by technical fall. Then he had an 11-4 win over Tim DeRosa.
And a quick takedown and a 2-0 lead.
2-0 lead for Anthony Luma, the talented freshman from Egg Harbor Township. Luma, 30-0 this year. A freshman, as we mentioned, the number 2 seed, beat Fran Smith of Kingsway 11-1. He beat Jose Matos of St. Augustine 6-5. Matos come back and had a pin in the third place bout during his trip to Atlantic City.
2-1.
An escape is 2-1. Wurtenberger this year with 13 wins by fall, 2 tech falls, 4 major decisions. His losses this year to Brian Bollett of Kittatinny 4-3, Rob Swan of Jackson 3-1, Ken Chambers of Collingswood 3-2, and Luke Grassi of Phillipsburg 7-3. And as we mentioned, Anthony Luma, the very talented freshman, 18 falls, 4 tech falls, 2 major decisions, and no losses this year.
And very composed for a freshman, Vogt. He was trailing at one point in that match earlier today.
And Justin Rivera won his 2nd regional title in that last bout, and that makes 9 regional titles for St. Augustine, including 2 by Justin Rivera.
Got a caution. 47 seconds left.
Good stance, man. Close gap. Motion.
Look at that, right in there, grabs the leg. It's another
very fit,
no
very
takedown. No takedown yet.
He gets a leg in there and picks up the other ankle, knocks him off his face.
Wurtenberger doing a great job to fight this one off, and he might get 2. Nope. He might give up 2, and he did.
Yep.
Nope. 4-1. He did. He did. He didn't. He did.
I think Wurtenberger turned the wrong way on that move. Luma trying for the cradle right off the start. Wurtenberger trying to control the wrist. He wants to try and get to his feet. Luma, very talented, throws the leg in to knock his man to the mat.
He looks like he wrestles more than December through March.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, somebody this talented. They're not just a occasional wrestler.
Okay, you know, just ever have too many notes, Vogt, and you can't find anything?
All the time.
Underway in the 2nd. Wurtenberger starts on the bottom.
Egg Harbor Township, of course, coached by Mike Piazza, long-time veteran coach.
20 years, Vogt. 20 years at Egg Harbor.
And at one time was, I believe, an assistant here. You guys see the cradle. Wurtenberger got a 1 count against him. Got out of that precarious position just in time. One thing Wurtenberger has to work on in the off-season is try and improve his strength. And he a lot of times has problems getting off the bottom. Far side cradle attempt.
Luma constantly working on top.
Oh, he's just been non-stop so far. And he loves the cradle, you can see that. He braces and gets Wurtenberger back over. He's going to get back points.
Vogt, you were mentioning to me on Wednesday when you were here at the seating meetings that people are just raving about Luma.
Yes, yes. And now you can see why. And he's very, very talented. Had very little trouble getting to the finals. Well, I won't say that. He had a familiar opponent in the semifinals in Jose Matos, who ended up getting a pin in 1 minute in the third place bout. But he won his first match. Luma did 11-1 before he edged Matos by 1 point, which was an all-out war out there in the semifinals. 22 seconds left in the 2nd period. Luma with a very impressive 4-1 lead.
And he's doing his job. Keep that lead at 4-1 when you're on top. At least keep it at that 3 points. It's nice to pick up some extra.
No question. He'll put all the pressure on Wurtenberger in the third period, because Wurtenberger will have to try and ride Luma, which, unless he decides to take the neutral position, in no way do I think he can ride Luma for 2 minutes.
Wurtenberger finishing 4th last year in this tournament.
And chooses to go on his feet in his third period. Well, 4th last year, into the finals this year. That's improvement.
Get out of that time.
The Luma looks so big for a 19-pounder.
Your shot, baby. Your shot. Circle out of that tie. Circle out.
Wurtenberger spins out to the side, but again, Luma's strength helps him break that attempt at a takedown, gets him out of bounds.
Last year, you know, Egg Harbor had Jimmy Garrett, who finished 4th in the state last year in his weight class. Of course, Jordan Burroughs also in that weight class we're going to see tonight.
Yeah.
Wrestled Garrett in the region finals.
And we're going to see Garrett's brother, Jarrell, upcoming. And of course, you got Jarrell Garrett in the room and you got Luma in the room. You're both going to profit from it.
Looks like another takedown here. There it is, 6-1.
Very quick. That's 2 takedowns, 3 takedowns for Luma. 2 takedowns in the first period, a takedown here in the third period, and a 6-1 lead.
Our third match of the evening.
Definitely don't think this one's going overtime.
Baseball bat. Walk it out with baseball bat.
Absegami High School, one of the better places to have a regional tournament. And as I mentioned earlier, Scott Logic, the athletic director here, all the table workers, what a fantastic job. 30 seconds to go, and Luma's going to win his first regional title.
Yeah, you don't want to put pressure on a kid, but you know, something tells me we're going to see more of him.
I don't think there's any question about it. On the right-hand side there, Mike Piazza.
As we said, 20th year, and there's Paul Marino on the left.
Dean Duke on the right. Not much I can say at this point. 20 seconds left. Their man's down 6-1.
Try that 5-point move.
As a wrestler, if he continues to work, Luma definitely has a shot at winning 4 regional titles.
And time runs out. Luma picks up a 6-1 win over Wurtenberger. So both for the first 3 weight classes, it's been the number 1 seed for one of them and 2 number 2s.
Yep. And what you have there is the second regional champion in Egg Harbor Township history. The first came in 2004 with Jimmy Garrett.
Well, Bo, you want to talk to, remind everybody about 2006 Cliff Keene Dream Team vs. New Jersey, hosted by the South Jersey Wrestling Association at Williamstown High School on Tuckahoe Road. That's April 1st. Doors open around 4. The championship match starts at 7. Tickets $15. For more information, go to sjwrestling.com. sjwrestling.com. How about that's a premier tournament? We see all the place winners at 112 pounds. Rivera, the champ, at 112. But bringing all these top wrestlers in from around the country, wrestlers from St. Edwards, who's a premier team, and New Jersey's team being coached by Buxton, the head coach of Blair Academy.
That proves to be very exciting. And of course, there's a preliminary match that will be held, and that will precede that New Jersey versus Dream Team, United States Dream Team, and it should be quite an evening.
Absolutely, and right in our own backyard. Here we go, 125 pounds. It's Ali Maj and Jarrell Garrett of Egg Harbor.
Jarrell Garrett, like I say, the brother of Jimmy Garrett, working very hard this year with Anthony Luma. What a combination that must be in the wrestling room. Jarrell Garrett, a sophomore, enters this match with 32-2 record this year. 60 wins already in his 2-year career with 11 losses. His 2 losses this year to Jake Sweezy of Delrand, 3-1, and Steve Makuka of Northern Burlington, 7-1. Ali Maj, 21-8 this year, and I think a remarkable story. Here's a youngster who was in an accident in late July. He was riding his bicycle, got hit by a vehicle.
Go ahead, continue your story. I'm just showing you something on our program that's a little different than what you were just telling me on the records.
Okay, and he was told after July he would not wrestle this year. He had a broken leg, severely broken leg, still has a pin in it, and of course here he is in the finals as the number 7 seed.
And I'll tell you what, Bodes, what's more remarkable, I think, is the way he's come back. I mean, towards the end of the year in a dual meet against Paulsboro, we had a chance to see Nico Lopez and him wrestle, and I'll tell you what, either almost stalled out or almost got teched in that match.
Yep.
And then they come back and avenge that loss in the quarterfinals on Friday night. Terrific job.
No question. Ali Maj's real record this year is 18 wins and 9 losses. Maj, as I mentioned, the number 7 seed, won 11-1 over Ryan Dorman of Kingsway, who he had lost to earlier this year. So that was a pure signal that he was on the road back. Then he beat Nico Lopez 9-6, and he beat Jacob Jager of Pennsville 10-1. Lopez come back and wrestled his way back and beat Jager 2-0 to earn a trip to Atlantic City. Jarrell Garrett, the number 1 seed, won 9-3 over Sly Hall of Timber Creek, and then he won 4-0 over Anthony Rislow of Deptford. And Rislow is lost to Nico Lopez 6-5 in their wrestle back bracket.
Interesting, last year, Maj and Rislow met in the quarterfinals. Rislow pinned him.
Yep. Maj is, if nothing else, certainly deserves a red badge of courage this year for working hard to rehabilitate and come back from that accident. Sean Felton, the official in charge on the mat, calls a stalemate. 0-0 with 35 seconds to go in the first period.
Matter of fact, Maj last week lost in the semifinal, so he had to wrestle back for 3rd in districts, while Garrett beat Shea from Buena.
20 seconds, score!
No score warning against Maj there for stalling. 19 seconds left in the first. Garrett going right at him.
As we mentioned, Gerald Garrett, is a terrific wrestler, putting the pressure on.
Looks like he just took his contacts out.
Yeah.
Right in on the legs. Try and steal a takedown here at the end of the first period. Maj is going to try and hold on. What do we got?
Nothing. Neither wrestler had pure control. Gene Barber, the coach from Ali Maj, was saying that because of the injury and because of the slow start this year, they had to change some things up because he doesn't quite have the strength in the legs that he would have had, and they've had to been teaching him some new changes. No score after 1. Garrett takes the down or defensive position. This will be a challenge for Maj to try and hold Garrett for 2 minutes.
Hard to believe Absegami votes 12-8 this year. Still, however, the 3rd best team in South Jersey. 4th best team, I should say, in South Jersey.
Yeah, they rank right up there behind Camden Catholic, Paulsboro, Kingsway, and with 8 losses, people look at that and say, how can you rank them that high? Well, look at their losses. I mean,
they lost to Paulsboro, Kingsway, Southern Regional twice, Brick Memorial, Phillipsburg, Camden Catholic, and I think maybe Tom's River. I can't remember the other one.
Yeah. So I mean, they had some. You hate to say quality losses.
Quality losses, though.
But they're quality losses.
Keep going, let's go, keep moving.
Or it was Kittatinny votes, not Tom Ford.
Right.
1:37 to wrestle here in the second. Scoreless caution, this time on Egg Harbor. Piazza gets to stay in his seat this time since he was out there in the last match. Egg Harbor, I think, sending one, goes 3 to the final.
Yes. All 3 having a definite shot to emerge as champions. Ali Maj on top. He likes to try and use that tilt for points if he can. Of course, Garrett has seen Maj this year. He's wrestled Maj, so he knows what to expect.
Hips up.
Oh, my.
Get at least 1, maybe 2. What do you give him, Bodes?
Gotta give him 1.
1-0 lead. Of course, Scannell doesn't agree.
Never had complete control. That's why you got to give one. Otherwise, he would have had 2.
Hey, let's go!
It's interesting because Gene Barber's actually walking on the mat, showing Scannell outside the circle, and now we'll have a conversation about it.
And you got to be careful with.
Go ahead.
But you got to be careful with the assistant walking over, because the first one to walk over was Sean Scannell, the assistant. Here it is. There's no complete control. But as they go out of bounds, you had separation there, enough to give a point.
No, you're on the line, right? You're not walking now.
So it's 1-0 in favor of Garrett.
Chris Scannell was an All-American and rider in his day. He's the assistant to Gene Barber. 54 seconds left. 1-0 lead Garrett here in the second. The only point coming on an escape in the second.
And of course, Sean Scannell also the wrestler that escaped
Damian
Hahn from having 4 state titles, beating 1-0.
Let's go! Score! No, run around! Come on, score!
Maj going after him this time.
Trying to spin behind. You see how quick Gerald Garrett is.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, brother. Oh, my. Oh, my. Oh, brother.
Got him. With 16 seconds left in the second period. That lights this place up, Bodes. Woo! It's like a jet engine going off. It's so loud in here.
Oh, my. Just a lateral drop.
Watch it one more time, and then we'll go to a break, Bodes.
It is here. Watch a lateral drop. Right there. Bang. He's on a knee. Just underhooks him. Spins him right over. Puts him on his back. Holds it for the fall. Oh, my.
Nice and tight. We'll take a break. We'll be back after this timeout. And welcome back to Absegami High School. Votes, they get ready to crown the champs at 119 pounds. I don't think they're ready because, you know what? They didn't expect that other match to end so quickly.
That's the truth. But we'll tell you who we're going to have in this 130-pound final. We're going to have the #1 seed, Aaron Wilcox, a returning champion, 35-0 record this year. His opponent, a sophomore from Kingsway, with a record of 30 wins and 7 losses this year, John Renard. Aaron Wilcox, 2 times the district champion, 1st and 3rd in Region 8, 92 and 7 in his career going into this bout. He advanced by pinning Kentry Harvin of Williamstown in 242, and then pinning Will Leeper of Washington Township.
Of course, this is a rematch of last week's district final. Wilcox won that one, 5-1 vote.
John Renard gets a 12-3 win over Kyle Wilson. He gets a 14-6 win over Ben Lloyd, and a 3-2 win over Darren Carrero of Deptford, who battled back to place 3rd.
There's no losses to talk about with Wilcox, but you know, we talked about it all year, the quality losses. Can you have quality losses? We talked about that with Absegami that Renard has.
John Renard lost to Danny Lopes of Ocean, lost to Will Livingston of Kittatinny, Chris Noddy of Holy Cross, lost to Aaron Wilcox of Shalley, and has 3 out-of-state losses in the Beast of the East. And probably the
Virginia Duels. I think he won 1, lost 1 to a ranked wrestler from Nazareth.
Nazareth, yes.
And we had a quick takedown, by the way, a lightning quick shot, Vogue, while you were doing that by Wilcox. So let's take a look at it, Vogue. Look, what just, you were going through the your stats, but look at that. Just
right in on the ankle. You get somebody getting in on the ankle that quick. That's a John Smith type takedown.
That's called anticipating the whistle or beating the whistle?
No, it's not beating the whistle. It's anticipating how fast you have to go.
There we take a look at,
and of course,
Wilcox. Brian Farnham, the head coach, as we talked about earlier, 24-4 this year for Shalleck, 79-40 in his career. 2005 and 2006, the Tri-County Classic Division champs. 106 wins, 16 losses, and 1 tie in his career at Haddon Township, a 2-time Region 7 champ. 3rd and 5th in the state. Not a bad high school career, huh?
Not bad at all.
I think his brother might have been a state champion, I believe.
Yep. And of course, as we mentioned, when Egg Harbor Township's Gerald Garrett won by fall in that last bout, that doubled the number of regional champions they had in back-to-back weight classes. had one coming in this tournament. Now they have 3.
The morning double?
Tripled.
Well, obviously, Vogue, it was English, weren't you?
That's why.
You were
that's
English
why,
teacher.
That's why I taught English. Those numbers confuse me.
1 minute to wrestle. Renard trying to come out the back door and get 2 for the reversal.
He does have the reversal. Good move by Renard.
So we go back to the center with 58 seconds left here in the first period.
And we're tied 2-2. And there again is an example of how tough it is to wrestle somebody for the second time in the season. Aaron Wilcox has a 5-1 win over Renard in the, coming into this match here. So you start to learn people's moves, and you either have confidence and it explodes, or you lack confidence. Renard certainly is not lacking confidence.
No, we saw that in that match against Livingston, when the Kittatinny dual meet.
Yep. Renard with 17 falls this year, 1 tech fall and 5 majors. Wilcox with 25 pins this year, 1 tech fall, 6 forfeit wins.
Wow, that's almost 6. There's Tom McConnell. He's on the left. He's the head coach at Kingsway. His first year, 23-3, Tri-County Royal Division champs.
And what a great job he's done in his first year there.
Right.
Wilcox grabbed the leg, trying to get out. He's going to get
nice job.
Great job by Renard. He almost had a neutral. Wilcox did, and Renard refused to give up on it, stayed right behind his man.
I'm going to use my St. James math and say Renard's already doubled his output of the last match because he scored 1 against Wilcox. It's 2-2. 20 seconds left. Where if the guy on the bottom really wants to get that point, take that 3-2 lead.
10 seconds, John.
Scott Jenkins, the official in charge on the mat. Ron Roberts, the assistant.
Nice job by Renard on top, Votes. We're going to go into the second period, 2-2.
A Granby attempt by Wilcox, and runs out of time before he could try and get any points out of it.
More about McConnell, Votes. Pretty good wrestler in his own right, though. 87 wins in his high school career.
At Collingswood.
District 28 champ, a Region 7 champ, placed 7th in the state.
Not a bad scholastic career.
This part has to be wrong. It says 2004. I don't think that's right. Maybe it's 94 it's supposed to be.
Yep.
Renard will start on the bottom here in the second.
Stay on your feet.
Wilcox holding on to that leg. He had to. He gave up 1.
Yep, neutral.
3-2, and now Farnham's going to discuss this one. We have a controversy again, Vogue.
Now the coaches are going to battle for every point that's given out there.
We'll take a look, and you tell me what you think, Vogue.
He's hooking the on the right leg there. He's hooking the right leg. He spins around behind. Leg being held on to as he spins out of bounds. I don't think there was any change right there.
There you go. But of course, Farnham warned, I guess, for questioning that.
Yeah, well, I'd question it too, because I don't think that was a point.
3-2 lead for Renard. We'll take it.
Yeah.
Never saw a guy turn the points away.
Yeah, they don't give them back very freely.
Stalemate.
Head fake setup. Head fake setup. Head fake. Head fake setup. There you go.
You know, Wilcox got that early takedown, but since then, Renard's done his job. Obviously coming back with 3 straight points.
And Wilcox, I think, can start to feel the urgency of the situation now. Doesn't want to give up any more points, and he's got to start making points of his own pretty soon. Tries to reach through with a trip. Renard tries to spin behind. Wilcox hits the overhook. Bernard picks up the ankle and knocks the man off his base. He could get a takedown, but couldn't do it. Wilcox, as we mentioned, third here 2 years ago, first last year in the region, two-time district champion.
Beat that Dustin Deckard last year, 3-1. Of course, Deckard this year over at Camden Catholic.
Moves up the ladder.
Under 30 seconds.
Almost, again, a stalemate situation.
Of course, his freshman year, Bernard was injured most of the year, Vogt. You have his stuff there. You notice he only had 14 matches last year, injured for the beginning of the year.
Yep. 8-6 record last year. Certainly.
Caution that time.
Caution.
That's a point. 4-2. And that's how he got that first takedown, Vogt. It was close. That's it. The clock. They had problems with the clock, Vogt. Clock started late.
Yeah. Still running.
Which kind of threw me off too.
Yeah. 4-2 going into the third period.
That point, that caution cost him there. Big. That might be a big point in this match.
Certainly is. Bernard on top trying to break his man down.
A warning against Bernard for stalling.
I
remember talking to Bernard's dad, Vogt, before that Central match, you know, about parents getting nervous, and said, look, at this point, the kid's going to know what he's going to know.
Yep.
Said all the training out there, it's up to him to go out there and execute.
That's all you can do. I mean, you can get into a position where they can learn. There you see the escape by Wilcox.
Now 4-3. Of course, Bernard's got to come after Wilcox because he's been hit for stalling.
And Wilcox is going to feel some pressure too because he needs to get a takedown or force a stalling call.
John, watch quick shot, hands. Hands out, head fake. Hands out, head fake.
Wilcox trying to gather his thoughts. What's going to work, what's not going to work.
In on that leg again, real quick. Can he finish it this time?
Well, he's reaching across, tries to get both legs. They go out of bounds, but still no definite control when they go out of bounds, so they're going to be neutral.
And Bernard, we take a look at him as they go back to the center. 1:03 left.
Under a minute to go. Time running out for Wilcox.
A lot of the Kingsway people behind us telling Bernard to stay low because you saw those shots that Wilcox is taking.
Getting in on the leg, so you want to lower your center of gravity, lower your base. Oh my. Wilcox tried to step over, and that's not a good thing to do. Of course, he's holding the ankle. Almost a stalemate situation. There it is.
30 seconds. Got injury time.
Injury timeout for Renard.
Gives us a chance to remind everybody to tune into the High School Wrestling Report every Wednesday. Not every Wednesday. Not many Wednesdays left, folks. Well, there's plenty of Wednesdays left, not just with us two.
That's true.
7:30 and 10 o'clock. And, of course, the season wraps up this weekend. Sunday in Atlantic City, and then Tuesday we'll be in Delaware, St. Mark's High School. See if I can get us lost again for the second time in 3 years.
Well, you're driving, Mondelli.
And I had the right road. I just made a turn a mile too soon.
Had me confused.
That is what? The Senior All-Star match?
The Seniors Classic.
As we look, it's the Kingsway contingency. There we go, 42 seconds of injury time left. for Renard. 4-3 match. Renard leads.
Do or die time for Wilcox.
He's got the ankle again. Now, Wilcox has got to get some motion. Keep him moving, then try and trip him.
Yep.
Bring him back in. He's going to that line. Of course, Renard's got to watch going to that line.
Yep. Wilcox steps out. 17 seconds to go. And Renard, the sophomore, will be a regional champion.
Hey, good position here. Good position. Protect.
Wilcox trying to spin behind. Renard goes upper body with him, holds him off. Wilcox, a desperation move.
And that's it. Renard's going to win. He's going to get 2 and 2. And if you're Wilcox, you got to go for it, Voge.
Absolutely.
What's the matter? 8-3 win. How about John Renard, Voge? Last week loses 5-1. This week he comes back with a region title. We'll take a break. We'll be back. More action after this timeout. There we go, back at Absegami High School, and there we see the winners at 125 pounds, Garrett, Maj, and Lopez. So as we get ready for 135, Voge, how about an update on some region champs?
Just want to mention that was the 9th regional title in Kingsway history. The last one in 2003 by Mark Barber, who's now in the college level. Brandon Becker had 2 regional titles, and John Renard, as a sophomore, wins his first regional title. Now we go to 135 pounds. The number 1 seed is Jordan Burrows of Winslow Township, a senior, 30 wins and 2 losses coming into this bout. His opponent, a sophomore from Egg Harbor Township, 31 wins, 2 losses this year, Eddie Aponte. Burrows advanced by a 235 fall against Bolt of Absegami, and then a 224 fall against Scott Ware of Clayton. Aponte advanced by an 11-5 win over Etherton of Sacred Heart. He advanced with a 16-8 win over DeGalbo of St. Augustine, 14-7 win over Higgins of Shalley.
It's funny, Voge, because that DeGalbo win, he was pinned by DeGalbo in the district final last week. It almost makes you think he was caught because it was a first period pin.
Oh, I'm sure it was. 87 wins, 15 losses for Eddie Aponte. See a takedown for Jordan Burrows.
No, Voge, I think Burrows, I mean, last year he was second in the state, but I think he woke up a lot of people statewide with that win over Greenwald and that All-Star Invitational at Brick Memorial this year.
No question. As we mentioned, his record 31-2 coming this year. His 2 losses, he lost to Jacob Merton of Lawrence, Ohio, 2-time state champion. He also lost to Andrew Van Dyke in the Beast of the East.
Whoa, Voge, he's got Aponte in trouble now.
Oh, my.
Plenty of time, too.
My. Oh, that's locked up tight. Oh, brother. Oh, my. Oh, my.
Nice Sam circle, knowing where he is at all times on the mat.
And he's not going to let him out of it.
45 seconds left. He avenged that Van Dyke loss, too, Voge.
Yes.
It's at a minute 17.
117 pin by Jordan Burrows. Yes, as you mentioned, he lost to Van Dyke and then beat him in the Brick Memorial Tournament 13-2 a week later. Working on a Division I wrestling scholarship, either Nebraska, where Vince Jones is, or North Carolina.
Rick Koss, the head coach. We can't get much to talk about him, but here's that move, Voge. Watch him set this baby up.
Pulls the arm down. Watch it if he pulls the arm down. Steps right over. Locks up tight, and he's going to come back to where where he's got the arm trapped. Throw the half in.
And that's it. Lights out right there.
Or the arm, and steps right into him.
And he just had too much time. That was too early in the period, Voge.
Yes.
We're going to get ready for 140 pounds. Why don't you tell us what's going on there as we see the champs being introduced?
At 140 pounds, we're going to have the number 1 seed, Brian Tracy, 33-0 this year. He'll go up against the number 2 seed, Shakoi Burry of Millville, 30-0. So we're going to have a battle of undefeated wrestlers. Brian Tracy, mentioned 33-0 this year with 20 falls, 124 wins, 16 losses in his career. Will attend Brown University next year. His opponent, Shigoi Berry, 30 wins and 2 losses this year, second in the regions last year. We mentioned that Brian Tracy, a 2-time regional champion. Shigoi Berry, a 2-time district champion, second in the region last year.
Yeah, lost to that Jimmy Stevens of Absegami in a wild one, 10-8. Controversial, too. I think the Millville people disagreed with some of the calls.
96 career wins for Shigoi Berry. Paulsboro with 1 regional champion coming into this bout, with Eric Dunnett winning in overtime at 103 pounds. Of course, we mentioned Paul Marina, the veteran coach for Brian Tracy.
You know, not often, Voj, and Paul Marina, Voj, what a record. 418 wins, 18 losses, and 7 ties.
Right.
And numerous, how many years has he been there? That tells you how many titles. Colonial Conference, South Jersey, and State Group 1 titles.
21 years in a row for Paul Marina with the Colonial, with the State Group 1, with the South Jersey Group 1. No other team has ever won a South Jersey Group 1 title. Only one of the teams won a State Group 1 title, and that was Roselle Park the first year.
And actually, they shared a title 1 year, Voj.
Yes, they did. Still a state championship for both teams. Oh, my.
How about that, though? Tracy didn't give up the takedown, though. He got picked up.
And I don't know why that wasn't called a slam. But
we're going to watch. Tracy is hurt. Let's take, we might be able to see. Tracy looked like that. He was wondering why it didn't get called.
Yeah, you take the man off the mat like that, you got to bring him back safely to the mat. That's pretty tough not to call a slam.
Let's take a look and see. Was it a good call?
Gets in on a double, lifts him off the mat.
Okay,
off the mat.
How does he bring him down?
That is a slam. No question about it, it's a slam.
Problem is, if Tracy can't continue, he would lose.
Yep, because no illegal hold was called, no illegal slam was called.
He uses some injury time, though. He's ready. Scott Stay, the head coach at Millville. We talked about Paul Marina. Scott Stay, and assisted by Bobby Barber.
And of course, now what you got to be aware of, if you're Brian Tracy, you're going to be aware of the fact that Shigoi Berry has some strength. You don't want to get yourself in that position too often. That can sting. The rule of thumb is you take the man off the mat, you got to bring him back safely.
You see Scott Stay, assisted by Bobby Barber. Stay, product of that Council Rock High School in Pennsylvania, 134 career wins. He's on the left. So on the left. Roach knows all.
No score after 1 period.
You know, there's 7 ties Paul Marina has, Voj. You know, one of them at the hands of Millville. Same day, Paulsboro actually lost the match and tied a match in the same day.
And a quad.
Against Absegami.
Yep.
Second period, Barry will start on the bottom. Tracy just lets him go. So 2 seconds in, Barry has the point.
2 seconds into the second period.
And not too often anymore, Voj, do you see 2 wrestlers undefeated.
Clear for that high seat, keep an eye out.
You agree, Voj? With all the tournaments and stuff, it's hard to see undefeated wrestlers, especially 2.
Especially this late in the season. I mean, these guys are undefeated coming against each other this season.
There's the takedown for Tracy.
And that's where one of his stronger points is.
And he lets him go again. Now it's 2-2.
And what Tracy wants to do is probably lower his level. Does not want Shigoi Berry to get in on his legs.
Some of the tougher opponents I'm thinking about these guys had. I mean, Tracy had that match against Kakuzo in the All-Star tournament. Obviously, he wrestled against some pretty good competition in Virginia. I'm sure Berry had a tough match. He won against the Delran kid, Camiso.
Yep.
think that was a 1-point match.
And of course, going to the latest rankings out of the state were Molinaro, Southern Regional, #1 in the state, Tracy, #2, Shakoi Berry, #6 in the state. So these two state-ranked wrestlers going head-to-head, both unbeaten. As we mentioned, Tracy scheduled to go to Brown University next year. Shakoi Berry would like to go to college next year, hasn't made a decision yet.
And look how he progressed in his record, Coach, from his freshman year. 14-12, 24-6, 28-8, and then this year 30-0.
That's hanging right in there. And of course, district place winners, he was 4th, then he was 2nd, then he was 1st the last 2 years in a row, and 2nd in the regions last year.
Of course, Tracy also had a couple tough matches, close matches going by the scoreboard in the Colonial Conference, one against Hessert and one against the kid from Hannon Township.
Yeah, of course, you know, what Tracy did this year was go for the strength of the team. Did you see a stalling warning?
Now Scott Stay doesn't agree with that. Stay also wrestled, by the way, at University of North Carolina. Is this another injury timeout, though?
No, this is a headgear problem.
Okay. One on the leg.
Spins behind.
Got the takedown.
Down they go, and there's a 2-point takedown.
With 4 seconds left, Boge.
Yep.
Well, Paul Marina doesn't agree with that. Well,
the two officials are going to talk to each other. The question was there control before they went out of bounds? If there's control, it's a 2-point
what are we going to see here? No takedown? Oh, wait, they keep it.
They're calling neutral.
Nope, no takedown. No takedown. Barry's got to get up. He's just sitting on the mat. 4 seconds left. Some controversy last year, I remember, with Barry. Here we go, watch, Vote. See if this is a takedown.
Troy Barry in on the legs. Still no control. As long as the overhook is in, you can't now see. Spins around behind. Did he have control going out of bounds? Very, very close. See how they came head to head out there when they went out of bounds? That's why there was no control.
Third period, Tracy's choice will take bottom. And the crowd now for the underdog, Shakoi Barry, Vogue.
Well, that's not unusual.
3-2, Tracy with the escape.
Tracy gets the escape. No question, Shakoi Barry came to wrestle.
It's loud. You can't even hear the whistle, Vogue.
Now Tracy has to use all his savvy in on the legs. He tries to go.
Every time he's out there.
We go back to the center. There you see, warning the Millville coaches to sit down.
And Tracy has to be careful. He can't take too many steps backwards, because if you do, you're going to get called with a stall. Shakoi Barry trying to control the head. He wants to try and bury the head down and spin behind. Stalemate is called.
Well, definitely the loudest match of the evening.
No question.
Blood time. We take a look at Shakoi Barry or Scott Stay, a two-time ACC champion out of North Carolina. 76-24 record in his college career. And Shakoi Barry in a wild one last year with Jimmy Stevens, and a wild one so far this year.
He's going to have to use all his expertise to win this bout. There's no question about it. A lot of pressure mounts when you've won the regional title a couple times going into a attempt to win 3. There have not been that many 3-time regional champions in South Jersey history. 32, in fact. The last one, Nick Oriole of Eastern in 2003, 4 and 5. Nick Oriole wrestling on the collegiate level this year at the Citadel.
Berry's on the attack. He's definitely the aggressor right now. And there's the warning against Tracy. Both wrestlers now have been hit in a 1-point match.
Yep.
Berry's taking the shots. And there's Tracy taking one from far out. Under a minute. There's the takedown. He has a 4-3 lead. 52 seconds left.
4-3. Shakoy Berry. Now the question is, will Shakoy Berry try and ride him for 52 seconds?
Oh, I think you definitely try it for a while and see how it goes. If you find yourself in trouble, let him go. And there we go. It's tied at 4. Because right now, if I'm Berry, I'm happy going into overtime if we can't score here.
Absolutely, and both wrestlers have been hit with stalling, so you can't really back up. You've got to go be on the attack. Shakoy Berry showed his speed in that last takedown, where he shoved the head down, spun behind. Stalemate.
Once again, a shot from far out by Tracy.
Tracy turning the corner.
There's the takedown for Tracy. 7 seconds left. He's going to come back and win this one, Voge. Or hold on, I should say. 3 seconds left at 6-4.
Now see, he can cut his man loose and still win the match, but he can't turn him loose and leave the mat. He's got to stay right in there.
And that's it. Final score, 6-4. Brian Tracy of Paulsboro High School.
And that's absolutely terrible to hear the amount of boos from this side of the gym, believe me. 2 warriors just went at it. You got to give both of them credit.
We'll watch the final takedown, Voge.
Watch him turn the corner on it. He gets in deep. Goes to his left, comes around, puts the hand around the hip. Berry knows it, right? Look at his face right there. He knew he was in trouble. And there's the takedown.
I don't think they're booing the kids, though. I mean, I know you don't like the booing the officials. I don't like. And I don't know if they had a right to boo the officials, but anyway, it was a great match.
Did they have the right to boo them or not? I mean, they made a call out there. I'd like to see you or me or anybody else go out there and make the calls under the same circumstances.
And they got to remember at the start of that match, that questionable slam match could have been over a little earlier.
Right off the bat. I mean, you got to give the kid credit for coming up on that. That was illegal and it wasn't called. And you can't convince me that wasn't illegal.
We see the 135-pounders being honored.
Yep. We're getting ready for 145 pounds coming up next. Number 1 seed is Brandon O'Hara of Washington Township, who had a 152 fall over Brian DiMatteo of Sacred Heart, and then a 4-1 win over Mike Landau. Mark Haig, the number 3 seed from Kingsway, had a 13-1 over Greg Addo of Egg Harbor Township, and then a 114 win by default over Matt Thomas of Pittman.
And he was in control of that match.
Yep.
The whole time. I think it was like 9-0 votes when they called it anyway.
Yeah, Haig, a senior, 29-7 this year, 64-27 in his career. Second in the districts as a junior, first this last year. Or excuse me, second as a sophomore, and first this last year, his junior year.
And he's on fire, Voge. If you've seen him wrestle the last month or so, I mean, you see the 7 losses, and we talk about this all the time, the competition that some of these schools wrestle.
And of course, 4 of the losses are out-of-state losses, and 1 was by an illegal slam, one of his losses. Brandon O'Hara, a senior from Washington Township, 103-16 in his career. He lost to Corneli of Camden Catholic. He lost to a wrestler from Maple Shade. He lost to Woodward of Howell, and he lost to a wrestler from High Point. So again, if you're talking quality losses, there's some pretty good competition there.
You did it again, Ralph. I hope you're proud of yourself. I hope you're proud of yourself. You did it again.
We got
O'Hara with a takedown and a 2-0 lead.
2-0 lead for O'Hara.
Break his hip! Break his hip! Butt right to the back! Stay bound! No points here. Watch the switch. Tight waist.
Washington Township vote the big Group 4 school, but we had Ralph Ross on earlier in the year talking to us. Only 25 kids out for that team this year.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing when the success they've had with the football program over there, the Story program that Tom Brown coached so well for so many years.
There's 3 points quick, an escape and a takedown for Haig, and a 3-2 lead with 22 seconds left. There's Ralph Ross on the left, the head coach. Of course, Coach Wes Deptford, a few years back to a state Group 3 title.
And a very successful son of Ralph Ross Sr. Had so many great years and great teams at Highland High School.
His job not to give up at this point late in the period.
10 seconds to go. Haig wants to lock up on that leg, see if he can't get a stalemate call.
And he'll go into the second period with a 3-2 lead. Tom McConnell on the left, he's the head coach. First year, we talked about him earlier, doing such a great job.
Already has one champion tonight. Paulsboro with 2, Egg Harbor Township with 2, St. Augustine, Kingsway, and Winslow with 1 apiece.
A couple losses to Nazareth, Voj, and then that I think still getting over that loss to Central Regional.
Yeah, that was kind of a heartbreaker, and as we all know, well documented by now, that there were some very, very close matches there that did not go Kingsway's in Kingsway's direction, and that's the difference when you get 2 good teams together.
O'Hara on bottom, 3-2 lead for Haig.
O'Hara gets the escape.
No tie him!
3-3.
No tie him!
O'Hara on the attack. Haig now is going to try and come out the back door. He gets the man in the air. He's got to do something quick with it or get a stalemate. There it is. Most times you'll see a wrestler when they get an opponent in that position will come out the back door and they'll get an arm up and try and separate those legs. O'Hara seemed to injure himself on that maneuver.
We'll have
injury timeout.
3-3 match, 1:25 left here in the second period.
As we mentioned shortly before the win by Brian Tracy, he becomes only the 33rd wrestler in South Jersey history to win 3 regional titles. Carlos Fontanez started back in 1963, 64 and 65. Al Maloney, quite an official for so many years, had 3 regional championships, as did Carmel Marina. 3 regional championships.
As we take a look at Mark Haig.
And of course, Joey Melchiori was a 3-time regional champion. The only reason he wasn't a 4-time regional champion,
Doug Taylor, right?
Because of Doug Taylor, who happened to beat him when Melchiori was a freshman. Most recently, Ryan Goodman from Absegami, who's wrestling in North Carolina State, was a 3-time regional champion before Oreo last year.
Last year, O'Hara wrestled at 130 pounds, lost in the opening round to Darren Carrero, Deptford, 8-3.
And of course, finishing 3rd in this weight class was Kason Jameson of Absegami, who beat Mike Landell of St. Joseph 11-5 during his trip to Atlantic City. You see a takedown by Brandon O'Hara.
Big takedown, 5-3 lead here in the second, 1 minute to wrestle. It's interesting, Coach. I'm looking at last year's results, and Haig had to wrestle Matt Thomas in the opening round last year, and Thomas pinned him.
Yep. Oh, my. Look at that scramble by Haig. You get a reversal.
Sweet revenge.
And ties it up by 5. Just remember only a couple years back when O'Hara was a lightweight.
Sure.
Now he's up in middleweights. Twice second in the district, twice a district champion. Second in the regions in 2003 and fourth last year in 2004.
O'Hara trying to come out the back door. Only gets the one, but he can spin around. He might get a takedown.
He gives a crossface here and breaks the hold on the leg and spins behind. Looks like we have blood time.
Blood time.
Yep.
6-5 lead for O'Hara. You know, you talked about coaching wins, Voge, and Ralph Ross, his dad, the winningest wrestling coach in the state, right, Voge?
In state history, yeah.
And we'll take a look at this takedown, Voge. You go look up that information. There you can see. Haig doing the job. Nice job just spinning around. At that time, tied it, I think, at 5.
Yeah, nice job. Ralph Ross started his coaching career at Triton Red and then went to Highland for so many years. Ended up with 601 wins, 601, 75 and 8. And right now, right up to the minute, Dennis Smith of Del Rams moved into second place with 441 wins, 109 losses. Gene Barber is in third with 440 wins. Gary Papa, who spent so many years at Paul VI and then at Camden Catholic, 440 wins.
And holding.
Yeah,
you never know.
Program to Pete DePaul.
Let me ask you a question about that. I know you, as you go down, do you think Gary Papa will come back and coach again?
Yes.
Okay. Write that down.
John Sanders, 423 wins, and as you mentioned earlier, Paul Marino with 418. Simply amazing.
Going to the third period, a 6-5 lead for O'Hara.
You know, and get a guy to coach as many years as Ross coached and as Paul Marino's coached. It's pretty tough.
Haig will take the bottom.
It's going to be tough to hold him down for 2 minutes.
Well, let's see how O'Hara works it. I always like to see a guy try at least, 20, 30 seconds, see what he can do. A lot of times you see him give up at point right away.
Go ahead, head to your knee. Take his head to his knee. Bring it across and win it. Pick the head up. Pick the head up and put it to his knee. Pick it up, trap. Right, go. Pick it up.
O'Hara in control.
You gotta watch, there's a stalemate. More blood. Take as many blood timeouts as you need, right, Voge? Up to 5 minutes?
Up until 5 minutes, and then if it seems like it's well, 5 minutes is the maximum.
Right.
But the official could stop it even before that if he feels it's a kind of a bleeding situation that cannot be reversed.
Oh, it's down to 4:19, so we got a ways to go before that'll happen.
Yeah. I'm going to mention that Washington Township, going into this bout, had 27 champions over the years. Most recent, Tyler Tisdale in 2003, who's wrestling this weekend in a national qualifier. And Dave Tomasetti, who has been injured recently at Hofstra, was a 2-time regional champion.
Of course, Vogue, you know all that college information because you do that weekly column for the Courier Post on college wrestling. Washington Township sending 2 wrestlers to the finals. They already advanced 1 today, so they'll send 3 kids to Atlantic City. John Price, the heavyweight, we'll see him a little bit later. 6'5", 135 left. Kingsway with 3 in the finals. And 1 champion so far in John Renard.
And Brandon O'Hara is doing a pretty good job on top here. But it's awfully difficult.
Yeah, well, he's got to watch out. Hey, can get 2.
Got a little high.
And more.
He's in trouble. He's in trouble. Oh, my.
Back points.
My. All Haig has to do is sit right there. He can work and try and get the fall. But if he sits right there, he's got a 5-point move. Oh, my.
He's going to have at least a 10-6 lead. And as I said, you can just stay there and ride it out the rest of the day.
You stay right there. That's something that you can't call that a stalemate. Oh, my. Lower and lower those shoulders go. Oh, my. Oh, my.
Mark Haig trails going into the third. Comes back and wins. We'll take a break and be right back. Well, here's that final.
Looks like Brandon Harris comfortably on top and doing what he has to do. You see Peg lift the leg, spin around to the side, work and bar the arm. When he barred the arm, got the half, and it was curtains.
Second regional title of the night for Kingsway. As we see Brian Tracy receiving his title and through a thunderous roar of boos, Voge.
Well, like I say, that's really silly for adults or
this is classless
anybody.
now. I mean, I know you shouldn't boo the officials, but the officials are out of it now. Kid's getting his first place trophy.
Yeah. 152 pounds. Number 1 seed is Phil Black of Absegami, a former regional champion who was second last year, a senior, 32-4. This year with a career record of 118 wins and 15 losses. He's been a 3-time district champion, third his freshman year. Region 8, he was second last year, second last year, first year before, fourth his freshman year. Has placed in the state already. Has 20 pins this year. He was the number 1 seed who advanced with an 18-5 win over Evan Forinsky of Sacred Heart and 14-6 over Rob Whedon of Kingsway. Jeff Hamilton, the number 3 seed, advanced with a 6-2 win over Mark Treckner of Clayton and a 3-2 win over Jake Fedecco of Delsey, who come back to take third. Jeff Hamilton, 27-4 this year. The 4 losses to Justin Jr. of Kittatinny, 3-1. Jake Fedecco of Delsey, 3-2. Scott Winston, the undefeated wrestler from Jackson, 9-3. And then John McCloskey of Audubon, 3-2 in 2 overtimes. Actually, it went to the very last 32nd overtime, and McCloskey was credited with riding him out, so that makes it a 3-2 win. The ride out.
We're scoreless here so far, 49 seconds in.
For Absegami, as we were mentioning, regional champions, they're tied for second in South Jersey history with 43 regional titles. Paulsboro was number 1 going into tonight with 90. Lenape and Absegami were tied for second with 43 apiece.
Talked about Phil Black finishing second last year to Chuck Martell. Last year at 140 pounds, Jeff Hamilton finished third behind Gajewski and Frank Chambers of Winslow.
Yep.
Frank Chambers was originally in this tournament, wasn't he, Voge?
He was in the tournament and did not make weight and had to withdraw from the tournament. You get this deep into the year and sometimes guys just get the HEWs.
Had enough with wrestling, what?
Had enough wrestling.
No score, 28 seconds. Something we've seen a lot over the years. Paulsboro and Absegami on the mat. Marina and Barber looking across at each other.
2 storied programs with a lot of success behind them. A lot of great wrestlers. Sean Scannell, the very animated assistant coach, is a caution on Hamilton.
Yeah, he was looking for stalling.
He was up holding his fist in the air, and the officials are going to see it soon enough.
And there's the shot by Black. And he picks him up and brings him right down to the mat, and 2-0 lead. Yep. Technician, right, Voge?
Absolutely. That's the way you diagram it, right out of the book.
2-0 after 1, and that's a big takedown late in the first period. And we talk about pressure on these kids, but especially when your name's Hamilton, your name's Black, but your brothers have come off all these state championships, Labe and Jeff, and Phil Black comes in. There's a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure, and of course Hamilton, the son of an outstanding wrestler in his day at Paulsboro High School, Jeff Hamilton, and of course the Hamilton names, Tyrone Hamilton and cousins, Preston Hamilton and Marvin Hamilton Jr.
It's now 3-0. There's that first takedown, Voge, towards the end of the first period.
You see Hamilton just relaxed just a tad. Watch Black, boom, right in on the leg, lift. And there's a legal takedown when you get somebody off the mat.
That's it. You don't overall. That's it. That's it.
Looking ahead upstate, Voge. Of course, you got that Darian Caldwell of Rahway, a 2-time state champion. I think ranked third or fourth in the country. You know, and we saw him. He's the real deal. Obviously, if you win 2 state titles, but just watching him this year against Scotland of Willingboro, and there's another takedown and a 5-0 lead for Black. He's just going to let him go. He's so comfortable on his feet.
Like that's the way we saw Black against Palmieri of Camden Catholic earlier this year. I mean, just at will, just took him down and cut him, took him down and cut him. He got a slew of takedowns.
Hamilton attempts the takedown there out of space.
And of course, just before the district tournaments, Hamilton had been wrestling at 145 when the 2-pound allowance came in. Actually, it was 147 pounds, and kind of made the team a pretty strong team at that point.
Try to give him another takedown here too, I think. Nope. No, they don't.
Yeah,
they're trying for it.
And I thought that was a takedown there. I mean, if you got control like they had there, and your legs, toes are in bounds, that's a takedown.
And there's one right there. He's just making it look easy. 7-1 and 40 seconds left here in the second period.
Yep. 7-2 after he gives up the escape. Now Phil Black does not look fatigued at all. He just looks like he could go forever and ever out there. I think Darian Caldwell not only has speed, but also has strength to match it. Got to be a frustrating situation getting this far and then going out there and having a wrestler as quick on his feet as Phil Black is.
Absolutely.
Again, pummeling the head, trying to get head control and force the man's head down to the mat and just spin behind.
Stall warning, that's another point. Should be 8-2, or is that the first warning?
Yes, the first warning.
First warning.
There was a caution before.
That's right. 7-2, 2 seconds. And you had 2 seconds left in the period. You don't want to get caught there.
Hamilton's choice. Selects the bottom. 5 schools have already claimed regional championships, 2 apiece for Paulsboro, Egg Harbor Township, and Kingsway. 1 apiece for St. Augustine and Winslow Township.
Well, should Black win this one and is in control, that tie will break in the next match because we have Paulsboro and Kingsway going at it. The only time in this entire tournament, all the wrestlers these guys sent in here, Vogue, and they will only meet once on the mat. Amazing.
There's a stall point for Phil Black.
It's now 8-2.
Hamilton tries to come up to his feet. Cannot break away before they go out of bounds. He'll start down again. Again, taking the man off the mat, bringing him back safely. Notice how Phil Black's knee goes down first when he's bringing back to the mat. What we saw earlier, I'd love to see it again, but I'm certain it was an illegal slam because take the man off the mat, the rule is bring him back safely.
.114 to wrestle. It's all Phil Black. He leads 8-2.
Rather methodical performance by Phil Black. Doing what he has to do. I wouldn't be surprised to see him cut Hamilton again and go for another takedown.
Cradle! Go ahead.
There's the 8-3. There's a takedown, or the escape to make it 8-3. Under 40 seconds left.
Get one, get one. Get one, get one. Reach shot. Good.
Hamilton trying to spin out to the side.
Work in. 30 seconds.
Takes a peek at the clock, 30 seconds. Got to try something now.
Yeah, you can't keep backing out of bounds. Like, get back straight out of bounds, he's going to get hit with a stall.
Get one.
He's got a circle in the middle.
There's the warning again, another point.
Yeah,
9-3.
Back straight out of the circle and back almost out of bounds.
And a takedown, 11-3. And he'll just stay there now, final 10 seconds. Actually, try and get some back points. Nope. One count. Final score, 11-3. Phil Black of Absegami, his second title. Although this is an interesting matchup coming next. A couple kids that grew up in Paulsboro.
Going to go head-to-head at 160 pounds.
There's Billy Weiner growing up in Paulsboro, playing Little League and youth sports there, now at Kingsway.
Bill Widener, the number 4 seed in the 160-pound weight class. He advanced with a 6-2 win over Dan Vignola of Delsey, and then he went overtime to beat the top seed, Joe Gamble of Buna, 6-4 in overtime. Gamble come back and took third place by beating Bob Tunstall of Clayton, so he'll go to Atlantic City. Cherasinski, the number 2 seed, had a 7-3 win over Theo Apostle of Williamstown, a 7-5 double overtime win over Mike Isgro of Absegami. Billy Widener, 27-9 this year.
We take a look at Mark Haig winning his title at 145.
67-33 in Widener's career. Cherasinski, 18-3 this year, 83-36 in his career. Losses for Billy Widener this year to Tenpenny of Central Regional,
who was undefeated at the time, went into overtime.
2-1 in double overtime. Phil Black of Absegami, 12-5. Joe Gamble of Buna, 5-2, which he avenged. Mike Isgro of Absegami, 5-3 and 3 out-of-state losses. Cherasinski lost to Carney of Jackson, 16-3. Lasowski of Clearview, 9-8, later avenged in the districts. And Phil Black of Absegami, 18-4. So they both have one-sided losses to Phil Black of Absegami.
Widener went 152 last year. Cherasinski wrestled 145. Lost to Bobby Flegel in the final last year.
Billy Widener, a 3-time district champion. Hopes to attend George Mason or Shippensburg. Bill Cherasinski, a 2-time district champion.
Just looking at the officials, Coach, man, they're working.
Yes, they are. Well, it's a little warm in here. It's got a little warm. This many people in here. Can't turn the air conditioning on. As you mentioned, boyhood friends growing up in Paulsboro, Billy Cherasinski and Billy Widener. Ron Roberts, the official in charge on the mat. Tom Reynolds, the assistant. Less than a minute to go in the opening period with no score. I think the two wrestlers are very much aware of each other's moves. That's what's going to happen a lot of times when you get two pretty decent wrestlers going against each other. Of course, you may look at Cherasinski's record and say, how come the 18-3 when he did start wrestling this season, got hurt in a gym class mishap and missed several weeks of the season with a high ankle sprain.
Got 30 seconds left here. Widener with the shot.
Good shot on a single. Cherasinski's got to try and block it off by reaching over and grabbing the ankle, cross face, try and keep separation, which he does.
And you look at Widener's season, Vogt, I think one of his losses this year to, I think was to Vignola of Delsey, but he came back and I think he avenged that in the districts, and he had that big one we saw against Kittatin against Sealy, who's regarded around the state as a top 60-pounder.
No question.
Scoreless first period. Cherasinski defers.
Of course, some interesting names at 160 pounds around the state. Caruso of Watchung Hills, Richmond of Warren Hills, Giffen of Eastern, Agbana of Hanover Park, Jacobs, Carney, we mentioned, bronchitis of Cherry Lisa and Sealy, as you mentioned.
Stay with your feet. Stay low. Stay low.
Sarasinski on top.
Again, what you got to be careful of here, when you're on top, you have to be very careful to break your man down, try and get out perpendicular. You ride parallel, and you're going to run into a situation where you can get hit with a stalling warning.
Weiner constantly moving. Sarasinski doing a nice job staying with him. Said he's got to work on something on top now.
Yep, he's got to try and turn the wrist back. Again, the first thing you have to do is keep the guy off his base. Weiner tries to come into a standing position. Sarasinski has to follow him.
It's interesting looking at the Paulsboro side now, Voge, because now you see Chile on the sidelines next to Marina. Obviously, he works with the middleweights.
Yep. Tony Chillo. Again, Sarasinski with a breakdown, but now he's got to turn the wrist back. He's got to try and set up some kind of a tilt or some kind of a pinning combination. Tries to get out perpendicular. Nice roll through by Widener.
And he's going to get one or two. He got the
reversal.
two. Big reversal with under a minute left here in the second.
Big points for Bill Widener.
They say, Voge, give up one, not two.
Yep. And you can see it. You can feel it coming. I will say you can feel it coming. Widener trying to come to his feet. Or excuse me, Sarasinski trying to come to his feet. Widener goes right with him. Sarasinski gets the escape, 2-1.
Nice move by Widener. Has Sarasinski in trouble there. Lots of trouble, Voge.
Oh, my. Stepped right over. Now he gets the two, and he's got back points, and he's very close to a fall. He stretches him out. Oh, my. Sarasinski fighting, but Widener in control. Will he run out of time?
He will, but he's going to have a 7-1 lead, Voge, heading into the third period.
Seven to 1, a big lead.
Here it is, Voge.
He drag through and then
keeps moving.
Widener just he steps over. See him step right over and then hook the chin, and that gives him the takedown plus the near fall situation. So since he starts down in the last period, but he's in deep trouble now, being down 6 points in the last period. That gave Widener a huge shot of confidence. Three-time district champion Widener against two-time district champion Sarasinski, boyhood friends, as he escaped.
Now 7-2. Widener's just got to wrestle smart here, Voge. He's got a 5-point lead. He hasn't been hit for stalling or anything. And we'll go back to the center. A 5-point lead for Widener.
Don't relax. Touch fake. Touch fake. Touch fake. Get moving. Stay on his wrist. Keep your head.
Reversal, takedown, and 3 back points. Scoring for Widener.
And Kingsway, of course, coming into this tournament with 8 regional championships, going for their third in this tournament. Already with 2 champions, going after a third.
Both of these guys in just hard-fought matches in the semifinals.
Shot there.
And for Widener, Vogt, what, 4-0, 30 seconds left in his match in this afternoon in the semis, and now he's 35 seconds away from winning a region title. That's a warning against Widener.
Widener doing exactly what he has to do. He has the lead. He knows that Chersensi has to come after him, so he can be the one that can be in control.
And right now, you know, it might be between Widener and Renard as the outstanding wrestler so far, both beating the top 2 seeds.
No question, they have to be in the running. There's no question. 9 seconds remaining. Billy Widener gets that elusive regional title. Stalling, 1 point for Chersensi, a little bit too late.
So Region 8 title for Billy Widener of Kingsway. Final score 7-3. He wins the region title.
That means Cindy Widener has to take us out to Applebee's.
She did say that, Vogt, didn't she?
Yeah, she did.
And her spouses, is that what part of the deal was? I won't hold her to it, but if she wants to. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. And as we take a look at Phil Black, the Region 8 champ at 152 pounds. Jeff Hamilton of Paulsboro in second, and Jake Fedecco of Delsey finishing third. 171 pounds underway, Vogt.
171 pounds. Mike Winklespec from Williamstown, the top seed. He had a tech fall over Leon Sanders of Clayton in the quarterfinals. A 4-0 win over Tom McCauley of Kingsway in the semifinals. His opponent, the number 2 seed, Matt Trainer of Winslow Township, an 8-2 win over Mike Cunchinata, and then a 150 fall over John Campbell of St. Augustine. John Campbell comes back and gets 3rd place.
John Campbell, Vogt, by the way, out of Gloucester County, lives in Glassboro, so that's in our area.
You control the time!
Winklespec, we mentioned 30 wins this year. His 2 losses to Anthony Trongone of Camden Catholic and Rylan Geiger of Blair Academy. Not bad competition.
Not bad at all.
Matt Trainer, 3 losses this year. 2 losses in the Obesity East. Lost to Dalrymple of High Point, Giffen of Eastern, Winklespec of Williamstown. So you have a rematch. Winklespec
of the district final.
And a Trainer.
Which I had here, Vogt. I can't find. Winklespec did win the district title, though.
Winklespec wants to wrestle in college. Would like to major in math. Here again, familiarity when these guys have wrestled just recently. Makes it awful tough to come back within a week or so. Trainer takes the early lead. Matt Trainer's desire is to go to college and become a nurse. 3-time district runner-up, 4th and 2nd in 2 trips to the regions.
Matter of fact, last year, Vogt, these 2 wrestled in the semis in regions. Trainer winning 12-8, and then Trainer loses to Billy Smashy 3-1 for the title last year. And he'll go into the second period with the 2-0 lead. We see Rick Koss on the left. He's the head coach. His assistant's Declan Moody. Of course, Koss at Winslow Township. And there's Dan Calhoun on the left. He's the head coach at Williamstown. Jernigan. John Jernigan is his assistant.
Keep down! Come on! Drive! All right, change up!
Winklespec on top. Brings him right back down. That's what he's got to do.
Oh my. Just missed. Getting a near side.
Gonna bring him right back down again.
Well, like I say, they just met a week ago, so they're very familiar with each other's moves.
He goes back doing his job, not letting trainer out, but he's still down 2-0. Last week that match was 8-4 for Winklespect over trainer in the district final. And he rides him out. Go to the third, he finds himself down though 2-0. Williamstown had an 18-6 season this year. Well, Winslow was 13-7. Rick Haas in his career, Boach, 125 wins and 46 losses.
Not shabby at all.
Spent some time, I think, where is it? Collingswood? Oh, he wrestled at Collingswood.
Wrestled at Collingswood.
Looks like a cramp, Boach.
Well, we said earlier, we thought it was a little bit warm in here, so they could be catching up with the wrestlers.
I'm actually interested in the 189-pound match, Boach. I find a lot of... I'm very intrigued by that match. First of all, another match with two undefeated wrestlers, but the fact that we get a freshman, Mac Mancuso, who is undefeated at 189 this late in the year.
Yeah, that's a tough thing this late in the year for somebody that young at that weight to be unbeaten.
And Jamal Jones, we saw him at that All-Star Invitational against, at Brick Memorial against Dovish from Lodi, and he won that one in overtime. He's a real thing, also a beast champion. Here we go, third period underway. Trainer of Winslow with a 2-0 lead over Winklespect. And they take him right back down.
Winklespect has got to get some points here pretty soon. Got to generate some points.
.126 left. He's got that leg locked up. It's hard for Winklespect to get up.
Yeah, he's got to get up to his feet, and he's got to try and free his leg when he gets to his feet. Got a minute to go in the match. He's down 2-0. It's time for dire moves here. Sit out, turn in. Going to get the escape. Got a 1-point escape. If he can control the head and get his man down, he can work for a takedown. Now time's running out. 40 seconds to go. Trainer in on the single leg. I think you saw Winklespect motioning to the official
to wipe down trainer.
Yeah, yeah. Not yet, not yet.
Got it. He already gave it to him.
Wow.
4-1.
check out again for the escape.
Well, he's got 15 seconds to get a takedown, Voge. 4-2 match.
He's got trying to control the head, spin behind.
5 seconds. And Trainer's going to hold on and win 4-2. We'll take a break and we'll be right back. And back at Absegami High School as we see the honorees at 160 pounds. We see Billy Sarasinski in second, and there he is, Billy Widener of Kingsway first. Now we get ready, votes for 189.
Yeah, you don't want to blink too fast on this one, although they're both undefeated, so we would expect them to be a decent bout here. Number 1, Jamel Jones, a first-year wrestler at Winslow Township, who was a 2-time Delaware State champion, won the Beast of the East this year, and very impressive.
And he already has a takedown, vote.
33-0 with a pin and a 10-1 win coming in here. The opponent, Mac Mancuso, a freshman from Holy Spirit, a pin and a 7-2 win coming in here. Matt Bailey beat Ellis Hester in the third place bout in order to advance to Atlantic City.
So early fireworks, 30 seconds in. Just had the coaches asking us for some information they thought they gave us, but they had it.
Good.
2-1.
Jamel Jones, 33-0 this year. He already has 90 wins in his career.
Here we see Tim Mancuso standing up. That's Mac's father. He's the head coach.
Beast of the East champion this year, 2-time Delaware State champ. Being recruited by Penn State, Oklahoma, Nebraska, and Minnesota, and he's only a junior. Mac Mancuso, 32-0 this year with 15 falls, 10 tech falls. Middle school, 2-time state champion, AAU national champion, Team New Jersey national champion. Middle school record of 67-0. Pretty impressive.
That? Yeah. And Holy Spirit votes 1-15 this year. So, but you know, Mancuso wrote down he's a first-year coach. Their goal was just to have a full team.
And Mancuso started varsity football as an inside linebacker at Holy Spirit.
Yeah, one of the assistants on this team, by the way, but Toomey Goodrum, Vogue. It's a name from the past.
Toomey Goodrum, the former wrestler for Absegami High School.
2-1, 20 seconds. And he's not intimidated, but I talked about that earlier. Right on the line. Did we get anything? Nothing.
Well, certainly the youngster from Holy Spirit does not look very intimidated.
4, 3, 2.
And you got to think, Vogue. I mean, I don't know where people are going to go next year. Is Jones and Mancuso both staying at 89? Will they go to 215? You still have Silvestro back next year. You know, you still have Ragone. He's only a junior at Camden Catholic. I mean, South Jersey, you know, at that 215-pound weight class, and you know, Ragone's going at heavyweight this year, so, and you still have Hester there, so
it could get awfully crowded.
A lot of good heavyweight or upper weights here in South Jersey. Second period, Mancuso starting on the bottom.
Jones, of course, has wrestled up several times this year. He wrestled heavyweight.
We're tied. Matter of fact, wrestled that. I think he beat John Price of
Washington Township. I was just going to say, he's wrestled up as high as heavyweight. Well, Mancuso is impressive, though. He is not fearful whatsoever.
Is related to Kyle Mancuso. We mentioned that earlier, of West Deptford High School fame.
You see that sheet for the coach at Holy Spirit.
Watch that duck, watch that duck.
Tim Mancuso, as you mentioned, the father of Mac and the first-year coach. Pretty tough at Holy Spirit. Has not had a great wrestling tradition. In fact, they've only had one regional champion in South Jersey history.
The crowd's starting to wake up, and Jones is going to ask for an injury timeout. And the crowd's getting on the side of Mancuso. He's smiling, walking around, laughing, having a good time.
Oh yeah.
And him and his father.
Well, he's the heavy underdog here, so why not?
Getting a little coaching right in here. You can see because that might be Kyle Mancuso behind him.
Been saying that Holy Spirit only had one regional champion. That was back in 1975 when Jerry Phillips was a regional champion. You remember that?
I was a sophomore in high school.
At 141 pounds.
Yeah. Well, 50 seconds left of injury time. Looks like a cramp again. There's Mancuso. Something tells me this guy's in great physical shape, and we won't see him tire out either. Jones got the early takedown. We're tied at 2. An escape from Mancuso after that, an escape in the second from Mancuso. And we're in the second.
The Glover brothers also help out along with Timmy Goodwin, all Absegami graduates.
Oh, here's the shot by Jones. Right on the line, he's going to run out of space though.
Rick Haas, of course, indicating from his side of his view that there's stalling going on. Jones again trying to use his exceptional speed.
A warning against
Mancuso.
Of course, the crowd doesn't like it because they're for the underdog. 8 seconds left in the second. Jones will have his choice in the third, which will be interesting to see how a kid like Mancuso works on top.
Well, I would imagine Jones will take the down or defensive position. Mancuso will have his hands full. See if he tries to keep him down. Jones with the escape. And of course, Mancuso, I would say, is very, very impressive. He's not backing off one iota.
And Vogt, you got to say that the freshmen that we saw at 103, the three freshmen there, Luma at 119 and Mancuso, we're going to see a lot of these, hear a lot from these guys in the next few years.
You kind of hope the 3 freshmen at 103 separate themselves in the future. You know, Luma is probably going to go up a weight class. And Mancuso is very impressive.
And I don't want to forget A.J. Fisher from Lower Cape May, Vogt, who's a freshman, 103 to 4th seed.
Yeah.
Breeze backing up. Breeze backing up.
Of course, a lot of their success in the future will determine what they do in the off season. Some of these guys have to hit the weights. Some have to work on technique. Mancuso sneaks a peek at the clock to see how much time is left.
Looking for stalling on Jones now, the crowd. Mancuso tries for the shot. There's a warning against Jones, so each wrestler has been warned.
I think that's a stall point. I think Winslow was
I know Mancuso had been hit earlier. Still nothing.
Oh my, oh my.
Still neutral. 37 seconds left.
Well, you can saw the father from the corner saying to his son, what do you got to lose? You might as well got to take a shot. As you mentioned earlier, whether the loss is 3-2 or 5-2, what difference does it make? You might see this go overtime. There's this
There's the stall. They got a tie match. Oh, they got a takedown. Oh my God! How about that? Oh, you're looking at the most outstanding wrestler of Region 8. 8 seconds left. 5-3 lead back Mancuso. Oh, brother. Woo! Injury time, and he has his choice in the last several seconds.
That's the second
Right.
injury
So
timeout.
he can take bottom.
Choice will be Mancuso's. Oh my.
Watch this move, Vogue.
Just after the stalling call. Here comes the stalling call. Got Jones backing up. Here comes the shot. Right here, he's going to control the arm. Drive right into his man and knock him off his base and get the takedown. Oh my.
I'll tell you what, only 7 seconds left of injury time. I don't know if he's going to finish.
And you see Mancuso
3,
say, I want the bottom.
2. Yeah, they stopped it. 8 seconds left in this match.
Oh my. And Mancuso is down.
I know you have a stall, 8 seconds. Do you take the bottom or do you take stand
Take
up?
the bottom and work to get out. Explode off the bottom. Explode off the bottom.
We have something going on over at the scorer's table.
5-3 is the score showing up on the board.
That's what I have. Watch this. I don't think he's going to let him go.
No.
Belly down. There you go. Watch this. Listen to the crowd erupt, folks. Final score, Matt Mancuso of Holy Spirit High School, the champion.
5-3. First champion from Holy Spirit since 1975.
Wow. Wow.
Well worth the price of admission.
Woo!
The real deal.
Somewhere Dobish from Lodi's looking on saying, whoa, I thought I only had one guy from South Jersey to worry about.
Yep.
How about that? This kid's going to be the talk of South Jersey wrestling in the next few years, Vogue. With him and Luma, the Cape Atlantic's alive and well.
No question. And you know, you look at the ratings in the state for 189 pounds, they don't even mention Mancuso.
Freshman Holy Spirit, how good can he be?
Yep.
Remember, I told you, Vogue, you go undefeated at that weight class. I don't care where you wrestle, you're pretty good.
Absolutely.
215, tell us about it.
215-pound weight class, we get a rematch of last year's Region 8 final. Jack Corcoran of St. Joe of Hamilton comes in at 26-1 with 2 falls getting into the finals. Alex Silvestro of Paulsboro, the number 2 seed, 29-0, a fall in his quarterfinal. 7-4 over Darren Sharp of Millville in the semifinal. Darren Sharp came back and beat Jason Leeds of Absegami 13-5 to finish third and earn a spot in Atlantic City. Corcoran, a senior, 2-time district champion, a regional champion last year, 4th in the state, has 80 wins and 5 losses in his career. Also an outstanding football player, going to Rutgers on a football scholarship.
I approve of that, Vogue.
Alex Silvestro, a junior with 90 wins in his career, 11 losses. A regional runner-up last year and a state place winner last year.
Chris Silvestro and Corcoran wrestled twice in a week last year in the region tournament and state tournament. Corcoran won both.
So the edge is to Corcoran. Silvestro has had very strong moments this year and some lackadaisical moments.
He is undefeated, Vogue.
What I mean by lackadaisical is his group match where he was taken down and he was giving up his ankle, and it was not a sharp effort. But as you mentioned, undefeated, so you can't knock that.
And the kid he wrestled in that tournament was unbeaten.
He was unbeaten. You're absolutely correct.
Wow. Once again, a lull after that buzz at 189.
Oh my.
Good pace.
How many times have we said when you get this far upstream, Mondelli?
Yep. No guppies, Vogue, just sharks.
All sharks.
Unless you tell me otherwise off camera.
45.
Boy, that got the crowd on their feet in a hurry.
Absolutely. Of course, we saw that only loss for Corcoran against Roy Dragon Jr. in overtime.
Yep. Both very good football players. Corcoran, of course, all South Jersey, and we said already going to Rutgers on a football scholarship. Silvestro, a two-way end for Paulsboro, defensive end, offensive tight end.
And we might have a takedown here at the end.
Oh my.
Got it, nope, got it. 3 seconds left, the takedown, big takedown, 2-0 lead for Corcoran. Yeah, Corcoran playing Voge, arguably the best team in South Jersey in high school football. I know Cherokee's going to argue and Delsey's going to argue. That's why I said arguably.
And a big takedown that late in the period.
Silvestro chooses down to start the second.
St. Joseph has only had one regional champion in their school history, and
Corcoran.
he's out on the map right now.
There you go. 2-1.
There you go, good play. Good play.
Silvestro taking a shot this time.
Corcoran is very, very strong. You see the reaction of Corcoran there. He not only has a little bit of agility and speed, but he's a very strong wrestler.
The calves, remember that last year, Voge?
Yes.
Just looks like he's really strong upper body also.
Almost a kind of a wrestler where you're playing with dynamite going in on the upper body. Swing to the outside, try and get a single.
Move your feet, Jack. Stand still. Make him wrestle.
105 to wrestle in the second. Just one takedown. That's for Corcoran. Last 5 seconds of the first period.
Circle, move your feet to him. Circle, move your feet.
This is a lot of nothing going on out there, Voge.
A lot of stalking, a lot of stalking. Yeah, well, you know, both wrestlers, one has no losses, one has one loss, so they certainly respect each other, and it's going to come down to a mistake to give somebody a sizable lead.
I don't think we've seen a shot in the last minute and 30. There's one right there. Corcoran fights off. Now Corcoran takes a shot on the line. And we'll just walk right back in the center. Clock will keep running. And the period's going to run out. A 2-1 lead for Corcoran as we go to the third period.
And I would think Corcoran's going to be down, and it's going to be awfully tough for Silvestro to keep him down.
As we take a look at the St. Joe bench.
Mike Piero, the first-year coach at St. Joe.
Second year.
Second year. You see the escape. We're now 3-1. Can Silvestro get a takedown? Or will Corcoran's speed, agility, and strength prevent it?
He's got to watch the backing up there too.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. He's got to circle in. He can't, you know, he can back up to try and sprawl out of a takedown attempt, but you got to circle in and take your own shots.
Last year was 6-5. Corcoran won. I think Silvestro had a late takedown in that match to make it a one-point match. Silvestro going at him this time. Corcoran trying to spin around, get a takedown.
Bounds they go.
Nothing.
No complete control before the feet went out of bounds.
I think they just want to discuss it again, the coaches. What do they usually do? Ask for help from the assistant?
Well, they can't. A coach cannot approach the assistant and ask for help. He can ask the other official if he didn't think he had a fair shot at it, go ask for help. But the official in charge thought he saw it all the way. And you have to have complete control going out of bounds. There was not complete control.
For St. Joe Hamilton in a nice season, both South Jersey Group B champs, made it to the finals against St. Mary's.
And that's where the season stopped.
Looks like we have injury, blood time on Corcoran. So we scour the map to look for blood. Next week, Voge, I guess you'll be spending the whole week in Atlantic City.
Not the whole week.
Comps, you'll probably have a nice penthouse suite All set up, ready to go. Next to the last match of the evening as blood time finished. We have 107 to wrestle. Corcoran with the lead.
3-1. Almost a dominating lead at this point, even though it's only a 2-point lead.
Sylvester with the shot.
I think he almost has to. He can't go straight in on Corcoran. I think Corcoran is seems to be much stronger in the upper body, so you almost have to sweep to the outside and look for singles. Sylvester tried a little bit of a head fake and go to the outside. 33 seconds remaining.
Corcoran takes the shot. Nobody's been hit. We're stalling.
"15 seconds.
Another shot attempt, fouled off by Corcoran, and he's going to win this one, 3-1. 2 seconds left. And that's the match. Final score 3-1 Corcoran.
And the second regional champion in their history, both by the same man.
Which vote brings us to the heavyweight. We have the defending state champion going up against the defending Region 8 champion.
And a rematch of last year's regionals. Number 1 seed John Price of Washington Township will be coming on the mat. He advanced with a 41-second fall over Steve Connors of Pittman and a 2:41 fall over James Woodley of Shalleck. His opponent Demetrius Hester at a 3:48 fall over Ryan Campbell of Absegami and a 40-second fall over Bill Ardecki of Clayton. Woodley defeated Ardecki 7-6 during a trip to Atlantic City.
There we see Mac Mancuso votes, first place at 189, receiving his award.
Exceptional freshman. And I don't see Danilo Jones showing up for his medal.
Not around anyway.
It's a shame. John Price, a senior, 33-4 this year, 87-16 in his career.
Oh, here we go. Last year, Hester won this one, 12-6.
Hester with 92 wins and 10 losses coming into this bout, 31-0 this year. 3-time district champion, regional champion last year.
Of course, Voj, I mentioned it many times that last year's region final was the best I've ever seen Hester wrestle. Now, you've seen him wrestle a lot more than me. But then as far as Price, that weekend in Atlantic City was an unbelievable week for him and probably the best he's ever wrestled. So, and his 4 losses are all the top kids. So this is going to be a good one.
Oh, there's no question about it. You look at John Price this year, and as you mentioned, the 4 losses. One was to Ragone, one was to Jamel Jones, who we saw get beat by Mancuso.
Corcoran and Berry, was it?
Yep. And Berry, I understand, was a defensive fall, where Price was actually in charge.
Well, they go out, we go back to the center. We wrestled 1 minute here in the first period. Final match of the evening, the heavyweight Demetrius Hester of Paulsboro against defending state champion John Price of Washington Township High School.
Inside, John, inside. Inside, John.
Hester got to utilize his speed and agility in this match. That's what he did last year. He got several takedowns with speed and agility. You want to respect your opponent, but you don't want to over-respect him.
try and go down low. Let me go back to the center, still nothing. See that fake taking that shot, Coach?
Yep.
Stay inside, inside. Contact that, John. Elbows in. Face. Don't react.
We're scoreless after one.
Much different than last year.
And I think all his losses were tight matches, except for obviously that pin. What you said was a defensive pin. Ralph was telling us that earlier in the year.
They're neutral again.
I didn't see who had the choice there
I
either.
thought it was Paulsborough's choice. I could be wrong.
So
Township deferred to Hester. Hester took the neutral position.
respecting the cradle, maybe?
Well, I think that's always in the back of your mind. That's what took John Price to a state championship last year, utilizing the cradle. So he's a big wrestler. So, you know, even though Hester is a big wrestler as well, you could be in jeopardy if you're on the bottom and you give up that cradle. Price looks a little bit stronger this year to me than he did last year.
131 left.
Of course, one of Hester's strong points is not being able to ride a wrestler for a long length of time. So he's got to score in this period or Price will start on the bottom in the last period. And it'll be tough to hold him down. Haven't seen any of the moves that Hester used in that state all-star meet when he wrestled
Ray.
Zach Ray for Pacon when he took him down 3 times.
There comes Price. He's got to have some motion. He can bring Hester in and take him down.
And so you got to keep him in bounds.
There's Hester's strength there, fighting that off.
Good overhook in.
Watch the snap, John. You got to get inside here, John. John, get inside.
Well, there's no deception whatsoever by Hester in this match. I mean, he's going in on the head almost every time. Nothing out to the side, no drags, no high crotch series.
Maybe Price isn't letting him vote?
Well, he's blocking him off very well. He's not blocking so much that he can be called for stalling because he's taking some shots himself.
Well, we're 2 seconds left, no score.
And that's the way we'll go to the third period.
And if I'm John Price, I'm thinking, hey, I got something going right here.
No question.
His choice, he's going to probably take bottom. I would take bottom.
And like I say, that's not one of Hester's strong points is riding anybody. So I think you're going to see Hester out, or you're going to see Price out in a hurry.
There's Price standing up, and he has the 1-0 lead.
And that could be it ends up 1-0.
Hester taking the shot there. .133 to go. Looks like Hester got poked in the eye. They're looking at his eyes somewhere over there. Of course, gives John Price a chance to catch his breath also. As we take a look at the Washington Township assistants.
Variety of champions tonight.
Brian Colbert.
One of the assistant coaches.
Brett Fetty, the other, it looks like.
Yep.
Ralph Ross, a career record 89 and 41, it looks like it says here, in his high school career. Hester has the leg. Will he get the takedown? I don't think so. Yeah, they got it.
That was close.
Ralph doesn't agree. He's over by the officials. They're going to confer. They agree. It's a takedown. Ralph doesn't agree.
Well, with 1:16 left, I don't see Hester being able to ride Price for this long. He's got to knock him off his base, and that's pretty difficult to do. There's a Turk on the leg, though. Here comes, oh my!
There's a reversal, 3-2. Oh, and I'll tell you what.
Not only that, but that's the second injury
Price
timeout.
gets his choice.
Yep. Oh my.
"40 seconds of injury time left." Price has his choice now, Village.
Yep.
After that.
And I'd start down again if I were Price.
If you're Hester, you just got to let him go right away.
No question. Injury time is running down too. There's only 20 seconds left in injury time.
He's okay.
Well, if there was no sense of urgency, there is now.
Here's that controversial takedown. I don't know if it's controversial or not. You tell me, Voj.
He's in on the single. Switches to a double. Knocks him off his base. Usually when you knock him off the base on the hip like that's when you're going to get the takedown. There was no overhook in. He was simply reaching over the back.
Okay, there we go. We're going to just let him go.
Yep. And there's a caution
on Hester. That doesn't let him go. Now he lets him go. Now he doesn't let him go. Now he lets him go. 4-2 lead Price.
Again, there's got to be a sense of urgency here.
Circle!
35 seconds left. Price with the 4-2 lead. Hester with the shot. Price doing a nice job fighting that off. He's in position to get a takedown here, Voj.
All he's got to do is spin behind, control the head, spin behind. But he's got the lead. He doesn't have to do anything dangerous. 15 seconds remaining. Price in control.
No takedown. 10 seconds left. There's a warning against Price, but he's going to hold on, Voj. One more shot. 4 seconds left.
With a 4-2 lead, he can back up all he wants now.
And that's the match. Final score, John Price 4. Demetrius Hester 2, and he celebrates a tour. Look at that. Ralph Ross, I'm sure they're showing, what's it say? He's got a shirt. Put that in your paper. That's a little shot at the Gloucester County Times. That's what they did. They had copies of Bill Ovens' column in the Gloucester County Times. They threw it up in the air. Ralph walking around with a shirt. There you go. There's the shirt, Voj.
Put that in your paper, huh?
So we have that. We're going to take a break. I guess we'll come back and wrap it up after this timeout. Well, we're back and we're taking a look at the heavyweight champion, John Price of Washington Township, Voj. And I'll tell you what, it's never a dull moment here at Region 8.
Never, never. Some great matches tonight. A huge upset by the freshman, Mac Mancuso over Jamel Jones. John Price, who finished second in the region last year, comes back and gets a little redemption. Very interesting Region 8 tournament.
Yeah, I would think, you know, I guess they're going to announce the most outstanding wrestler in a bit. But, and there we see Corcoran getting his award, winning at 2:15. Silvestro finishing second. But Kingsway had a nice showing. They had 3 in the final and 3 champs.
3 champions, and they ruled Region 8. They had 3 champions, Paulsboro with 2, Winslow Township with 2, and who else had? A Carver Township had 2.
Right, and so Kingsway sends 3 on to Atlantic City. Paulsboro does send 8 on to Atlantic City, even though they only won 2 of their titles tonight.
2 champions, so I don't think that's what they expected walking in. I mean, I thought they thought Silvestro had a shot, having finished second last year, and obviously Demetrius Hester having beaten Price last year. A lot of pressure on the kids, but a lot of excitement.
Well, it definitely was, and real quick, I know we talked a lot about Mancuso, but your thoughts on Mancuso one more time. Your thoughts on Mancuso one more time.
Oh, my thoughts on Mancuso. He's a physical specimen as a freshman. I mean, you know, you were asking last week, what were they saying in the seating meeting about Mancuso and about Luma? And I said nothing but strong thoughts about both wrestlers, and both wrestlers come around and win a regional championship today.
Yeah, and you talked about it. I mean, just the fact that these kids are undefeated. We're not sure, like, the competition they wrestled, but when you looked at the background of Lumen and you looked at those numbers that we got about Mancuso, I mean, you knew they were pretty good wrestlers.
Oh, no question about it. And of course, the only Paulsboro Kingsway matchup in the finals was Billy Widener against Billy Sorosinski, 2 boyhood friends that met out there, and Widener kind of dominated the match.
Okay, well, that's it from Absegami High School. For John Vogeting and the entire crew, I'm John Mondelli. We'll see you next time right here on Channel 5.